where he shouldn't have done, and that has not endeared him to Vale fans for a long time since. And the referee gets us underway here. We're off and running. Vale get us underway in the first game of John Brady's era as Fleetwood clear their lines from the back, and then Vale playing the ball out to the right-hand side. Mitch Clark inside the centre circle and sends it back to Joe Gauci, who takes the ball away from the on-rushing Davis and goes long and low, looking for Wayne. It's headed out, and looking at this, Adam, it is a straight-up 4-4-2, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm glad to see that as well. I think that probably suits the players we've got at the moment as much as possible. I'm glad to see Mitch Clark at right back. Marvin Johnson left back. I think Marvin's an outstanding player at this level. I think George Byers probably operates better when he's got one alongside him and a couple wide, and then certainly Devante and Jaden Stockley are suited for a two.
Throw for Fleetwood then, level with the edge of the penalty area on the right side. Inside the first minute of the game, Zach Medley takes it, the number 3 for Fleetwood, deep into the box, not cleared, headed out by Hennigan, but it'll come there to Helm, who hits it, takes a deflection after a right-footed volley that bounces easily into the arms of Joe Gauci, who then kind of basketball throws it out to Marvin Johnson out wide on the left, clips one over the top. It's a lovely ball over the top for Devante Cole, just a little bit too much weight on it, and it bounces through to Harrington, the Fleetwood goalkeeper. But you've just said there about Marvin Johnson's quality. That was such a beautifully played ball. Yeah,
it's really difficult when it's a straight one like Marvin just played to get enough pitch on that it doesn't run through to the goalkeeper, but also beats that back three or that back five where Fleetwood is set up. But he's got so much quality, Marvin Johnson.
Harrington now the goalkeeper, up towards the halfway line where Humphreys gets up above the number 14 there. Lewis McCann, one of two centre forwards for Fleetwood, as Mitch Clark under some pressure goes back to Joe Gauci on the edge of his 6-yard box, chips the ball out wide to the left. That's a poor ball from Gauci, and he will send that into touch for a Fleetwood throw. And Helm, who is playing at right wing back today, will take it. It's interesting that one of the few changes that John Brady has made has been to change his goalkeeper tonight.
I didn't realise that. I know we looked at the team sheet, but I didn't realise until you actually spoke in the build-up around it. It's a little bit of a surprise for me. I think Ben Amos has done well. He's very, very settled. He's calm, assuring. I think Joe Gauci came in and did really well, but when the results started to go against Vale, and performances did, he sort of he wilted a little bit for me. And I think that's not anything personal against him. I think it's down to that inexperience and that element of his age. So it is surprising that the manager's picked him, but he's in a position to make decisions, and that's what he's here for.
Wayne trying to win the header on the halfway line. Fleetwood blast it clear up towards their right. Humphreys is under it. He's trying to keep Davis away from the ball, but Davis is a bit bigger and stronger, and he then tries to nutmeg Marvin Johnson, who successfully blocks him off, and it'll be a throw to Fleetwood, who've started on the front foot, to be fair. They've gone about their business well in the opening couple of minutes as they send a deep ball into the box from right wing back, which Hennigan deals with and clears and goes long, but Fleetwood get the ball down and start to play. That's a poor ball though, and George Hall will pick it up on the right, and he'll put the afterburners on and start to run towards goal. Past one and past another. Comes centre field. Still George Hall. Tries to knock it through to Wayne. He'll have the pace to get there first. Back across goal. Palmed away by the goalkeeper. It'll come back in for Stockley, and it's blocked by Malarkey, and it'll go behind for a corner. But lovely football from George Hall, who powered forward, played it to Wayne on the left, sent the ball back across the 6-yard box. Keeper palmed it out. Stockley, it was behind him, but he managed to readjust himself. Shot towards goal that was blocked and out for a corner.
Yeah, George Hall's just picked up from where he left off against Blackpool. His pace and he's so direct. It goes past 3 or 4. It's a beautiful ball into Ben Wayne, who does really well to square it across the face of goal. Good opportunity.
Shipley was taking the corner, but the referee has spotted something. Benjamin Speedy, not one for the spotlight. Benjamin Speedy. And he has called over Cameron Humphreys and one of the Fleetwood players, because I think he feels that there was something untoward going on. There was a bit of shirt pulling which he didn't like, but the referee will now allow both of them to go back and carry on doing exactly the same thing they were doing a minute or two ago. Shipley's ball in, it's a good one. Keeper stays at home, and the header's just over the top of the crossbar. Last touch came off a Fleetwood player. It's another corner. Really good delivery, and the keeper didn't seem interested in coming for that either.
There's a load of bodies in front of him as well. I think it's really difficult for him to come out and really go and attack that and take it probably confidently and with a clean pair of hands. And Jordan Shipley, I think his quality is really good from set plays.
5 gone here, 0-0 in the FA Cup first round on BBC Radio Stoke, on the radio and on BBC Sounds as well, as Shipley over this corner from the left drives one to the far post, header towards goal by Hennigan, only half cleared by Fleetwood and eventually scuffed away there by the number 20 Harrison Neal, and out wide to the left now to McCann, who picks it up deep inside his own half, but George Hall will go and challenge him. The ball will bounce out of play and it will be a Fleetwood throw midway inside their own half on the left. And while Fleetwood have made a decent start in the first couple of minutes, we've now just seen what Vale are capable of.
Well, Vale have got obvious quality. I mean, you'd look at a number of those Vale players that would get in Fleetwood's side, and that's no disrespect. It's just it's the fact of the matter. But Vale look a little bit more probably on the front foot, a little bit more desire from them.
Johnson now out wide to the left after playing a 1-2 with Wayne Johnson, then flattened by the retreating defender, which I think was the number 6 Bonds, and it will be a free kick to Vale about 5-6 yards in from the left touchline, more or less maybe 18-19 yards away from the byline on the left, which Shipley will go over to take. And there is a queue of interested players on the edge of the penalty area, which include the likes of Ben Hennigan, Jayden Stockley, George Byers, Devante Cole, Marvin Johnson and George Hall waiting outside the box, as the referee now walks over to make sure there is no more pushing and shoving going on as Shipley waits to take this free kick. 6.5 gone, 0-0 here, and Shipley with a chance to put the ball into the box from this free kick.
I mean, there's a huge gap there, Phil, isn't there?
Yeah, if he's going to attack it well, and that's a good ball in from Shipley to the back post, headed down towards goal. Flag goes up from the assistant referee on the far side. I think he feels that there was an offside there, and it will be a free kick to Fleetwood Town. A bit anticlimactic after all that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when it's set up, I mean, there's a huge almost gulf of space for Jordan to whip that ball in. I think he's probably hit it a little bit higher than he probably needed to. I think if it bounces into that 18-yard box within the sides of the 6-yard box, I think it causes Fleetwood a huge amount of trouble.
Mitch Clark trying to meet the goalkeeper's kick, which he did by rushing forward to meet it, but at such pace it kind of ricocheted off the top of his head. John Brady is already looking animated in the technical area, frustrated probably that his team maybe haven't been as composed on the ball as he wants them to be. A lot of his backroom staff are those that were also here under Darren Moore, as Fleetwood now bring the ball away down their left. It's Ennis who tries to take on Clark, getting a bit elaborate, then tries to push it past him to take him on for pace, and he will. And he gets to the byline now, and he looks to try and pull the ball back in, checks onto his right foot, puts it across towards the near post. McCann is trying to appear there, and he'll win the ball, and Hennigan, no messing whatsoever, gets in front of him and thumps it out into touch for a throw on the far side. But an example there of the challenge that Mitch Clark will face this season.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure, I don't know too much about Ennis, but he's fronted Mitch up there, and Mitch has got a bit of pace, but Ennis just goes past him like he wasn't there. And I think Mitch needs to probably get a little bit closer and stop that from happening. He's got to get physical contact, both arms on him, and stop him really being able to do it.
George Hall's been robbed of the ball here, and then he's gone back in to win it back, and the referee didn't like it, as it was the number 16 there, Ennis, who caused all those trouble in the first place from the throw. Cameron Humphreys didn't really clear the ball that well, and it left George Hall with a lot to do on the edge of the penalty area on the right, and he was robbed of the ball and then fouled Ennis, who was the player who took it off him. And now Fleetwood have a chance to put the ball into the box from a dangerous area, about 7 or 8 yards in from the left touchline, and about maybe 17 yards or so in from the byline on their left in front of the bycar's end. Gauci in the middle of his goal. Vale brought everyone back bar Devante Cole to defend this, which is a notable change actually, because they normally bring everyone back for these. There is a player just outside the box in Helm, but instead the ball is looped high towards the far post. Bonds will head it back in towards the near post, and it's cleared away by Hennigan, and Marvin Johnson couldn't handle it's actually Medley, the big number 3, and he's a big unit, isn't he? And he easily beat Marvin Johnson in the air.
Yeah, I mean, Marvin's a good size, 6'2", 6'3", but I mean, it looked like it was overhit initially, but Headley gets there.
Throw into the box then, headed back towards the byline by Hennigan, and then blasted clear by Johnson up towards the halfway line on the left. The flick on is by Hawhey, and Bonds will pick it up and send it back to Harrington in the Fleetwood goal. 0-0 here with nearly 10 minutes gone in this game on BBC Radio Stoke and on BBC Sounds. In the third round of the FA Cup, Port Vale 0, Fleetwood Town 0. Hennigan finding Cole just over the halfway line, right side. Good work from Cole. Byers sweeps it out with a nice ball to Johnson on the left, curves one to the back post, looks for Stockley, can't get enough purchase on the header to play in Cole though, and it's cleared by Fleetwood, powered back into the box by Byers with a header, but too powerful, and Harrington comes to deal with it and sends it up to the halfway line there, looking for McCann, and most referees would give that as a foul by Cameron Humphreys, wouldn't they? He'd clearly just shoved McCann in the back to hit the ball.
I don't mind that though. I mean, in fairness, I think McCann's, he's a big, powerful presence, isn't he? Cameron Humphreys has gone and had a go at him, but fair play to the referees, left it.
Here's Jordan Davis wide on the left for Fleetwood, trying to whip in a low, deep cross towards the near post, looking for the run of the number 9 there, Will Davis, but it was blocked off by the retreating Mitch Clark, and it will be a Fleetwood throw. And there's just a few bits of snow dotted around the pitch here at Vale Park. They had a heater on prior to the game to ensure it went ahead, and I know there were ground staff sweeping the snow off furiously when it had appeared overnight as Fleetwood take this throw. Medley in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Clark, back in by Bonds, out by Clark again, looking for Cole, can't get there first though. Fleetwood try and get it back towards the edge of the box. Davis brings it down, beats Wayne to the ball. Now Neal to Will Davis, out wide to the left now to Ennis, who's got a bit of room to run at Mitch Clark, gets into the penalty area, sends one to the back stick. Helm is up looking for it, but that's well won by Ben Wayne, who tries to escape, and he'll try and use his pace to get away down the left. He might not get there ahead of Neal because Neal had a big head start, and he'll send the ball long and back towards the byline. Marvin Johnson will look to try and shepherd it out, and that'll be a goal kick. And fair play to Ben Wayne, who managed to make the clearance, realised it wasn't going to fall to a white shirt, so had to chase it and close it down.
Yeah, I think that's what he's good at. He presses, he's got a bit of physical size and a bit of pace. The questions sometimes are around his quality in the final third, but he's not playing an awful lot of league football whatsoever. So, but what you do get from him is he's desperate to do well.
Clark now trying to pick out Stockley. A flag will go up, which seemed utterly pointless, being as Jaden Stockley had kind of put his hand up to the fourth official to acknowledge that, I might be offside here, but I'm not running towards the ball. And it was only when the Fleetwood player got it and then he went to close him down, that's when the ref blew for offside.
Well, it's a bit of a stupid decision, rule, isn't it? I mean, if he's offside, he's offside. Stick the flag up and stop everyone running around and having a bit of a go for no reason.
As I often quote my dear late father, where do they get these refs from? Anyway, Fleetwood have a throw about a third of the way inside their own half on the left, which the number 3 Zach Medley, who's been taking the majority of their throws so far, will take. Huge long launched one up towards the head of McCann. Mitch Clark leapt with him, last touch came from him, and out for a Fleetwood throw halfway inside the Vale half when one of the ball squad has to clamber over the mountains of snow that are over the edge of the pitch to go and get it back. And it's taken by Medley again, plays a 1-2. Stockley closes him down, puts pressure on him, concedes the throw. Jaden Stockley looks a bit reinvigorated the last couple of games, doesn't he?
Well, I think he's been so desperate to play all year, and I think we have to say we've been desperate to see him play. He must be so frustrated with the limited game time he's had, and I've always felt that he's the ideal partner for Devante, because I think he just takes the pressure off him physically.
Cole there on the halfway line, brought down Hennigan's clearance and then got dumped on his backside. That's a ball over the top looking for Wayne, who won't win it ahead of Helm, but Marvin Johnson will, and he'll take on Helm on the edge of the penalty area. But fair play to Helm, who came back and won it off him and did really well, and now he set up a Fleetwood attack away on the right with McCann, who's going to run at Hennigan, but Hennigan's done really well to stand him up, and then he'll reach the clearance and then hack it clear down the left and find Ben Wayne, and well done Ben Wayne for a turn. And then Neal takes a real nasty kick at the back of his legs, and then it's hit quickly by Byers over the top for Devante Cole, who's all on his own on the edge of the penalty area, but the offside flag goes up on that far side, and it does seem that the Vale fans are getting a little bit annoyed with the officials.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really intelligent play from George Byers. It's a free kick. Ben Wayne does well to win the free kick, and it's a dead ball, and George Byers just puts it into. It's a brilliant pass for him. I think it's a great run from Devante. It's probably just missed time, but like you said, Phil, I think the fans are starting to get a little bit frustrated with the officials. However, I have to say, probably got that one right.
Yeah. as Harrington now takes this free kick halfway inside the Fleetwood half, left side. Up it goes, flicked on by McCann. Byers beaten in the air by Davis, but then wins the ball back. Good work from George Byers, gets away from one. That's not a great ball from Fleetwood though, as they played in George Hall inadvertently on the right. Chance for him to use his pace, pings a beautiful ball across the edge of the 6-yard box that Ben Waine will just about keep in. Will he? No, he won't. Even he couldn't catch that, but it was an excellent piece of play from George Hall to read that and then play the ball along the edge of the 6-yard box. A real deep cross, and just nobody was quick enough to reach it.
No, I think it's good play from George Byers initially as well. I think he wins first tackle, and then he's first onto the loose ball, and he just puts George Hall into a position where he can open his legs. And you just want George Hall to drive every opportunity he gets when he's facing his full-back up. He's got so much pace and he's so direct. I think he looks for that early ball into Ben Waine, and there's a little bit too much on it.
Harrington now with this clearance up towards Davis, cleared away by Hennigan, whacked forward by Malarkey, and that will come through into the arms of Gauci as John Brady on the edge of his technical area. That's pretty much where he's been since the game started. He's like a bird on a wire, sitting perched there, just taking everything in. If you missed his first interview with us on BBC Radio Stoke, you can hear it now on our club page on BBC Sounds. There is a club page dedicated to every club, and one for Port Vale, where that interview with him will be there. Here's Ben Waine on the left from a lovely ball from Shipley. Waine across the box, looks for Cole, but his ball is blocked by Hawhey, and Waine is furious with himself because he knows a little bit more pace on that, and Devante Cole is waiting to gobble it up in the middle and open the scoring.
I think he just takes his time, and if he does it earlier, I think Devante's got a tap in. It's a great bit of play from Jordan Shipley. He drops him in field, and his immediate thought is, can I pass forward, can I put it into an area where we've got one of two wingers getting onto the end of it. Ben Wayne's got good pace, he gets there, but just a little bit slow to cross that ball.
Shipley now with this corner, floated high to the back stick. Assistant referee, I think, feels that has floated out of play, and that's twice now Shipley has resisted the urge to drive the ball in and tried to float it, and twice he's made a little bit of a mess of it, and he'll be especially upset with that one because that one looked like it curved out of play before it came back in.
Yeah, it's way too high, and like you just said, the linesman immediately gets his flag up before Jaden Stockley even gets contact from the cross.
0-0 here, 17 minutes gone on BBC Radio Stoke and BBC Sounds. Phil Bowers and Adam Yates, your commentary team here. Port Vale and Fleetwood Town in the third round of the FA Cup. We will go to extra time and penalties tonight if the score is level after 90 minutes, as Cameron Humphreys tries to get the better of Will Davis, and Johnson fires the ball against his shins. Cameron Humphreys will shepherd it out of play, and that's good work from the two Vale defenders. And Johnson and Davis just having a little bit of afters there, and Johnson appealing to the assistant referee to say he's had a little bit of a kick at me there while I was trying to keep him away from the ball. And that'll all go down to that'll all just go down to a little bit of professionalism, won't it, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in it, is there? I mean, Marvin's probably got a bit of a kick there, and yeah, nothing in it. Listen, sometimes you have to do that, just let the opposition know or whatever that you're not going to.
Well, that's Cameron Humphreys there, because Vale were victims of a high press, didn't deal with it, didn't look to be any danger on, and Humphreys turned down a blind alley and went to try and find Marvin Johnson on the left, but his pass was so bad and it's gone out and given Fleetwood a throw. And their high press is what's causing Vale the trouble here, because that's what they're struggling to bypass. Good work though from Johnson to get the ball back. Wayne's done well, found Cole though losing the ball, but will have the presence of mind to ping it back to Johnson, who hits one over the top looking for Stockley, and Harrison Neal has got a big handful of his shirt and drags him to the floor, and the referee says no dice.
Yeah, I mean, Jaden puts himself around as well, so I'm not sure. He wasn't complaining too much, was he? He wanted a decision. The referee didn't give it. There is a little bit in there, but not enough, I don't think, Phil.
Byers now with some work to do on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, that ball from Humphreys. He's lost the ball. Bond's looking to drill it back across the face of goal. Shot comes in from Davis. It's cleared. Fleetwood have still got the opportunity, and Shipley needs to clear it. Makes a mess of it, and it'll come out now onto the left to Ennis, who stumbles but still keeps hold of the ball. And Vale, the masters of their own downfall here, because they're trying to be a little bit clever at the back, aren't dealing with Fleetwood's high press, and it's causing trouble. Deep cross in towards the near post, out by Hennigan, who's repelled most of the things that have come his way so far tonight. Nice work from Byers to turn away from Neal. Now Shipley now to Hennigan, and out wide to the left to Johnson. and then hit over the top, and that is not going to be easy for Ben Waine to chase to the extent he won't even bother. Vale are struggling with Fleetwood's press.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that's twice that Cameron Humphrey's been caught on it, and I have to say he's been absolutely outstanding this year. I think he's been by far and away probably one of Vale's best players this year, and it's unlike him to get caught on it twice, but he does. And I think you're right, Phil. I think it's the high press which has caused Vale a little bit of insecurity and a little bit of nervousness.
Yeah, they aren't liking the way that Fleetwood are playing, and this is how kind of Pete Wild sets his teams up. They're quite high press, energetic. They like to get in your faces. They play quite a lot of players high up, and it means you're often penned in your own half, and that's what they're trying to do here as we hit the 20-minute mark in this game. 0-0. Fleetwood now with a throw, just under halfway inside Vale's half. Malarkey, the right of the three centre-backs to take it. Now to Bonds. Malarkey comes in field, sends it across the edge of the centre circle to Medley. Now wide to the left to Ennis, who's given Mitch Clark a torrid time so far, the number 16, as he's going to try and take him on for pace again, and does him, and gets the ball into the near post, and it's hacked away by Hennigan, and Mitch Clark is finding Ennis difficult to deal with, if not for his pace, if nothing else.
Well, I think Mitch's positioning's off. I think he can be higher and wider than he is, and what he's allowing Ennis to do is get 7, 8, 9 yards of run at him, and he's already gathered pace.
Medley's long throw into the box, not cleared by Vale. It's bounced a couple of times now. Hennigan can't get his head to it. Shot will go in, and it's powerful towards goal from Neil, but it's well held by Gauci, who couldn't have seen that very early. And now Johnson tries to take it away from Bonds, who just trips him and will send him down. And Johnson's looked at the referee as if to say, is that not worth a yellow card? Because Bonds didn't make an attempt to play the ball. He did take out Marvin Johnson just as Johnson was about to open his body up and go past him. Yeah,
I have to say, firstly, it's a great take from Gauci. It's come through bodies, and he's taken it really comfortably. But Marvin Johnson, it's a clear free kick. I'm surprised the referee's not give a yellow card to Bonds there, because he's seen Marvin get away from him, and it's a really cynical one.
Ennis has done Mitch Clark again here and gets away from him down the left, and Clark trying to reach him this time, sticks with him shoulder to shoulder and times his challenge correctly and will concede a throw. But that was Mitch Clark again, just maybe getting a little bit caught out, but a foul throw is given against Fleetwood here. Is it me, or are we seeing more and more foul throws these days? Because I've seen a lot this season, when previously I've probably seen one in about the past 4 years.
That's an obvious one, isn't it? Just go back to Mitch though. I think you're right, Phil. He's struggling to deal with the pace of Ennis, and like I said, I think his position, he's got to be a little bit closer, and he's got to get out there quicker. That has to be that high intensity to get out and shut the winger down. And you slow down once you get there so that he doesn't pop it past you and go on. But Mitch has got enough pace to deal with him. I think he's just positioned. He's probably a little bit tentative to go as wide and leave his centre half exposed. And
here he is again, and Mitch Clark can feel it was McCann that time just on his back, and I think Mitch Clark knew he was there and just felt a touch from McCann and went tumbling to the floor and got himself a free kick. But again, when Fleetwood do get the ball forward, it's not just one player chasing it. There's sometimes 3 or even 4 players who are all surging forward and looking to try and provide support for the player who's trying to win the ball. And it's a high risk strategy, but it's a high tempo strategy. Be interested to see how long they can keep it up too. As Gauci with this free kick now angles it towards the left, looks for Stockley, wins the flick on, finds Cole, brings it down on his chest, chips it forward looking for Waine, who's done well under pressure from 2 and 3, but still coming away with the ball. Shipley winning it back on the left, looks to try and stand up across now. Jordan Shipley's ball in, headed away at the near post. It'll come to Cole, tries to head it square for George Byers, cleared by Fleetwood, brought down by Clark on the edge of the centre circle, does really well. Johnson now out wide on the left, curves in a nice looking ball. Nearly found its way through to Cole. It just got taken off his head by Malarkey, and then the retreating defender Hawley saw it bounce off his shin and go back to his goalkeeper, and Fleetwood riding their luck a little bit there.
Yeah, they looked a little bit anxious, didn't they? A little bit nervous. They were swiping at clearances, never really got a handle on the defending, and Vale starting to really push forward and be on the front foot.
And that looked a little bit of a late challenge there by Malarkey on Waine, and the referee agrees. Jaden Stockley is making the point that studs were raised there by Toby Malarkey, the number 44 for Fleetwood Town. Not like Jaden Stockley to go and inflame the situation, is it?
Not at all.
No, not at all. But he has succeeded with his appeal there because the referee has felt prudent to issue a yellow card in Malarkey's direction. So he's the first player in the book tonight, Toby Malarkey. Means Vale will have a free kick just to the left of the edge of the centre circle inside the Fleetwood Town half. 0-0 here as we hit 25 minutes in this FA Cup third round tie between Port Vale and Fleetwood Town on BBC Sounds and on BBC Radio Stoke with Phil Bowers and Adam Yates. Shipley is over this free kick. Vale have committed players forward here, chipped in by Shipley, looking for Stockley, headed away though at the far post by Medley, and it'll drop out of play for a Vale throw, level with the edge of the penalty area on the right side. And Mitch Clark will go over to be given custody of this. We are actually using, I believe we're using, it's the Winter FA Cup ball tonight, so it's kind of part orange and part white. Although I don't see the point for orange balls anymore because they never play with snow on the pitch anymore, which is a great disappointment to those of us who like old school. Headed away by Bonds from the throw. Byers though back to Clark, takes a touch, back to Byers, needs something good in first time, jinks away from his challenger though, and now back to Humphreys who aims a good looking cross in for Hennigan with the header, but he can't connect strongly enough and Fleetwood clear. Now Shipley curves a nice ball in, but the keeper comes out quickly, gathers it. It was Stockley who went flying into him, but the keeper held on to the ball. And that was a tempting cross from Shipley back into the box. But one thing's clear is that Vale, when they do get quality into the box, can cause trouble.
Well, you've got two centre forwards in there that have got presence, and you know, and I know Devante's probably not the thickest set of a centre forward, but he has a good size and he does attack it, and he's really smart in the box. You know, he's so aware of what's around him and where he should drop in the anticipation. And then on the contrary, you've got Jayden Stockley, who's a real powerhouse and wants to go and attack it. And I think, you know, when you've got him in the side particularly, every single opportunity you've got to put that ball in the box, you've got to do it.
Stockley scored his first goal of the season in Vale's last game here, a 5-1 win against Blackpool. Vale have actually scored more goals in cup competitions this season than they have in league games. Byers sweeping the ball across to the left side, asking a lot of Johnson, but Wayne will find it. Nice ball from Wayne to play, and Johnson down the left. Good ball from Wayne. Marvin Johnson now to the byline, looks to put in a cross. Lovely cross, keeper. Oh, and it just lands on the top of the net. The keeper started to panic there because I think he thought that Johnson's ball in from a really acute angle was going to sneak in underneath the bar at the near post. Jayden Stockley was waiting there, predatory, almost to try and tap it in, but the keeper, you could see the panic on his face as he tried to reach it, but the ball landed on the roof of the net.
Yeah, and again, I know I keep saying this every week, I feel like when Marvin Johnson plays, but as soon as he gets half a yard, he just gets out his feet and puts it into an area, and yes, that probably wasn't quite where he wanted it, but again, you know, if you're a centre forward and you see Marvin Johnson picking the ball up, you know it's coming in with quality.
Shipley's made a mistake and headed the ball straight to a Fleetwood player, and now they're on their attack with Ennis on the edge of the penalty area. Left side, he'll run at Clark, he'll drive the ball into the near post where it's held by Gauci, but that came from an error from Shipley, who under no pressure whatsoever headed the ball straight to a red shirt, and then that put Vale under pressure once more, and then that effort that went in towards the near post hit Gauci, and he gathered it into his well, I'd like to say his stomach, but judging by the way he's walking, I think it hit him a little lower than that.
The nether regions.
Yes, and on nights like this, the nether are the worst. Anyway, throw for Vale, flicked on by Byers, looking for Cole, cleared away by Helm, up towards Ennis on the left again, and Mitch Clark just didn't read it properly, but then Ennis's ball is cleared. George Hall on the touchline on the left, trying to turn, loses the ball. Nutmeg from Ennis, sweeps it across now to Bonds. He's got a player out on the right, but he might not need him. Shot comes in with the outside of the boot there from the number 15 Jordan Davis. There were better options on for him, one of which was Mark Helm, who'd come sprinting away down this right side. If he'd have picked him out, he'd have been through on goal. Instead he tried to hit it with the outside of his right foot, and Gauci was relieved to see that one go a good distance over the top of his bar.
I think he's done Vale a favour there, because you're right, Helm's completely busting a gut to get wrong side of Ben Wayne, but Davies just gets out of his feet. He tries the outside of his boot from, you know, fully 25 yards, which does obviously us a favour.
Gauci's kick is headed back into the Vale half, unchallenged there. Hennigan now goes to meet it, scoops it up, flicked on by Stockley. Good flick on here to Cole, who went to try and pop it through to Ben Wayne. That looked like Malarkey touched that with his hand. The referee disagreed. Johnson meets the clearance, finds Wayne, who tries to bring it under control. Done well there, Ben Wayne. had to kind of juggle it on his nose like a seal for a bit, and then powers across into the far post, looks for Stockley, and arriving at the back post of George Hall, who had to make his way through two players, get a connection onto it, got his head to the ball, but couldn't test the goalkeeper. And now Harrington releases it long, going looking for McCann, but he's well intercepted by Cameron Humphreys, and now Vale trying to play their way out down this left side. Good work now from Johnson to find Wayne. Infield to Shipley. Needs to do better than he has done with his last few passes, and he has done well because he's found Byers on the halfway line on the right. Out wide now for Mitch Clark. First chance for him to try and get forward and support the attack. Lovely deep cross, looks for Stockley, but the keeper plucks it out of the air, makes it look easy. Good hit there from Mitch Clark, but the goalkeeper came out and did with it well, and now he releases it quickly, going looking for McCann, but well marshalled by Cameron Humphreys, who sends it back to Gauci. This is quite an interesting game. If you're a neutral, you'd be really enthralled in this.
Well, it's really open, isn't it? I have to say Harrington's distribution for Fleetwood's been outstanding so far, and every time he comes and collects across, he wants an early kick, and like I say, his distribution's been outstanding, but it is open, it is end to end. I think Fleetwood have got some quality. I think both centre forwards have got power and presence, and have won more than the fair share of headers, but I still think Vale have got a little bit too much in the top end of the pitch.
Harrington is actually not Fleetwood's first choice goalkeeper. That's Jay Lynch, who is on the bench tonight, as a ball over the top from Mitch Clark goes looking for George Hall. Oh, and Cole hits the top of the bar via the goalkeeper. It was a lovely ball from Clark out of nothing to release George Hall down the right, who absolutely flew past his marker, hit a low early cross at pace, which found Devante Cole, and Harrington somehow turned it onto the crossbar and out for a corner.
I mean, he has to score, doesn't he? It's all around about Mitch Clark's initial ball, but George Hall's pace, electric pace, he's in behind. It's a brilliant ball across the face of goal. You would have bet everything you got on Devante Cole breaking the deadlock, but brilliant save from the goalkeeper.
Shipley's ball in is high again to the back post, headed out, and it'll come for Johnson, who hits one, but it's floating with the outside of his foot over the top of the crossbar. Not a great hit from Marvin Johnson, in stark contrast to Devante Cole's. You should say he should score from there, but I think you've got to give credit to the goalkeeper, haven't you, for an excellent save at close range.
It is, but I mean, Devante, he'll be so disappointed that he's not scored. It's a golden opportunity for him, and he has to do better. I mean, he is a natural goal scorer, and I'm a big fan of Devante's, but yes, it's a fantastic goal, fantastic save and a reactive save from the goalkeeper, but Devante will be kicking himself that he's not broken the deadlock.
Harrington now with the goal kick up towards Davis, well dealt with by Humphreys, tries to hit one down the left for Wayne to chase. Malarkey will get there first, and knew Wayne was right behind him and took no chances in heading the ball into touch. And in the Lawn Street stand, kind of away to where the other bits of seating is that aren't quite cleared for use yet. There's a load of snow that was cleared off the pitch earlier as Bonds fires it down the right touchline, and that's well read by Hennigan. And one of the Fleetwood players is down here, and I think, is it McCann, who raced across to meet that, and Hennigan slid in. I don't think there was anything wrong with the challenge from Hennigan, who seems to have also taken a bit of a blow from it, but maybe he got his studs caught there. No. McCann?
Yeah, I think he's just taken a bit of a whack off Ben as the challenges come in, and he's followed through. It's a great challenge. There's nothing in it. I mean, he was immediately throwing his hands in the air, McCann, and let's hope it's not serious, but nothing wrong with that challenge from our centre half.
No, and it was the type of challenge you'd expect your lead centre half, as Ben Hennigan is in this case, to make, and he's just making his way over to the touchline now to get some instruction and some refreshment, take on some fluids. And as McCann it is who's staying down, and I think the referee is making out that they may need a stretcher here, because I wonder whether or not he's just broken something or something like that, and they don't want him to put any weight on it.
No, I think it's the follow through that's probably done him a little bit. And like I said, I hope it's not too serious at all. I mean, immediately he was signalling to the bench, wasn't he? And like you said, there's a stretch coming out.
Yeah, and it would, nothing to do with Vale, but it's a nightmare for Fleetwood, because they sold their top scorer Ryan Graydon earlier today, went to Salford City for a considerable fee, and so people are willing to pay money for strikers in this transfer window. Vale have got quite too many strikers, So they will need, you would think that maybe the transfer activity that comes Vale's way will be more out than in. Already Ronan Curtis getting linked with a move to Plymouth that we've seen on social media over the past few days, but both sets of players now down getting some instructions. Down there is John Brady, his new assistant manager Gary Mills, lead first team coach down there Jamie Smith, Simon Ireland as well, are all giving some instructions out.
There's a certain Chad Evans on the bench for...
Yes, and I think he's going to be coming on by the looks of it. He's just got his tracksuit top off, so he'll be coming on. But, I mean, it's not been a bad... Well, we're just over 35 minutes in. I think John Brady will perhaps get a good idea now, being in the dugout, not in the railway, of maybe what the good bits and the bad bits of this Port Vale team are, because they're really good when they get the ball out wide and get crosses into the box, and they can be aggressive, but sometimes when they try and over-elaborate at the back, they can get caught out.
Yeah, I just think sometimes, teams have got this obsession, and maybe it's come from the Premier League and some of the top managers that have tried to play out from the back and have influenced those that go lower and lower. And I remember seeing an interview, John Terry talking about why on earth are lower league teams and even Premier League teams trying to play out from the back when you've got a 6'2", 6'3" centre forward that you can go and hit directly. And I feel that with Vale as well, when you look at the two centre forwards they've got, you can go direct. The physicality's there, the presence is there. You pick up your second bits, you get the ball wide, you put crosses in the box, and the more crosses you put in, the more questions you ask of the opposition. And like you said, when Vale are at the best, they are getting the ball wide and delivering crosses into the box.
Well, there is still treatment going on for Lewis McCann, who has had his boot and kind of cut off sock taken off now, and his leg is being put in a splint, his left leg and his ankle, and that does not look good news for him, unfortunately. Best wishes to him, because he'd started to play quite well, but he will be playing no further part in this game, and it'll be Ched Evans who will come on to replace him. And he has scored goals at many levels over his career, but Vale find something maybe a little bit more different to combat now, purely because he's probably not going to press as high, but he is a natural finisher and he is going to cause trouble if the ball gets to him in the box.
Well, he's also he's got that nastiness and that aggression, and he will be leaving his arms and his feet in, getting his body in the way. He's an experienced centre forward who's had a really good career, and like you said, has scored goals at good levels. So yes, maybe something different for them to think about. I hope there's nothing too serious with McCann. It didn't look great, and like we said, he immediately flagged to the bench and the medical staff that he needed support. The stretch is on there, and like you said, it's into a splint, so fingers crossed it's not too bad. But this break and play, not ideal for Vale. I think they started to get a grip of the game and get a bit more control of the game, and obviously it's come at the wrong time. Yeah,
they were doing well. They've probably had the best chance of the game so far, with Devante Cole's effort from close range that was saved by David Harrington, the Fleetwood Town goalkeeper. An exceptional save, but as Adam Yates said, really one that you would have expected Devante Cole to score from. And this will result in a lengthy stoppage at the end of the first half, you would expect. Members of both medical teams are down there. Mike Hines, Sam Bebbington are all down there from Vale's medical team, as well as the Fleetwood Town staff. There's a serious amount of concern here for Lewis McCann, who is down, and as I say, is having his leg strapped up and splinted. And that's not just a matter of... That's not just a simple splint as well. They're going quite intricately into that as well. I think they've got a real concern that he might have had torn ligaments or broken his ankle there.
I think it's more of a break than any ligaments, Phil. I think the concern will be around the break, because you don't put a splint on like that so much if it's ligaments or tendon. I think it must seem that they're trying to stabilise and isolate the ankle or the lower part of his leg. So hopefully, fingers crossed, like we said, we don't want anyone to suffer those types of injuries, but it does look pretty serious.
So as we say, there will probably be a lot of stoppage time added on at the end of the first half, and while you are there, depending on the length of stoppage time, you might want to head over to our BBC Sounds Port Vale page, where you will be able to find interviews that you won't get anywhere else. They are interviews that are BBC, and they will be part of our offering for you digitally. But every team has got a club page this season, Port Vale being one of them, and over there you can find John Brady's first press conference that he did. You can find a breakdown of his first press conference that I did with Mike Bagley from the Valiant newsletter, with some of the talking points that came out of that. It's available now on BBC Sounds. Just head over there, search Port Vale, and you will find it. The applause is coming for Lewis McCann, who has now been placed on the stretcher after having his left ankle put in a splint, and he's been given an oxygen mask as well. Looks like he must be in some real severe pain there, Lewis McCann. There's genuine concern for him. There's lots of medical staff, St John's Ambulance, and as I say, Fleetwood Town medical staff over there as well, and presumably he will be taken off to hospital to have that looked. And without wishing to tempt fate, going to Royal Stoke on a Friday night he might be there for quite a while, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Look, all the clubs have got private health, but when it's something quite as severe as that, I'm not sure that he will need to go straight up to the hospital and get it x-rayed. I'm not sure how much swelling will immediately go on, but fingers crossed that it's not a break and he's able to come back pretty quickly.
Well, he is being taken across the pitch to the far side, where they will take him straight over. I believe that's where they can bring ambulances in if needs be, or emergency vehicles. So he's been taken over to that side of the pitch to get him over there as quickly as possible, and as Ched Evans waits to come on. So we've had quite a lengthy stoppage in this game. The watch as it sits is on 41 minutes here on BBC Radio Stoke. Port Vale 0, Fleetwood Town 0, but we will have a pretty healthy chunk of added on time due to that injury to Lewis McCann, and it seemed quite innocuous on the face of it. Ben Hennigan slid across to meet the ball as he chased it towards the touchline. Hennigan got the ball, but I think, as Adam Yates says, just caught McCann on the follow through, and whatever that contact has been, it has resulted in McCann being substituted, and Ched Evans will now come on and replace Lewis McCann. Tell the reception for him.
I was about to say, I can't imagine he's going to go great one.
No. Anyway, it will be a Fleetwood throw, which is halfway inside the Vale half on the right side, as with 42 minutes gone the game restarts. Malarkey swings the ball into the box. That's awkward. Gauchi's got to come a long way and get it, and does, and he'll bowl it out quickly for George Hall on the right. He's got Jordan Davis tracking him, so George Hall can't just take the ball past him, and he's out-muscled there. And now Fleetwood come forward again. Clipped over the top towards the right side, looking for Helm. It'll reach him ahead of Marvin Johnson. Helm puts the ball into the edge of the box. There's a shot come in from Ched Evans. No one had picked him up on the edge of the penalty area. It hit his own player and then cleared away by George Byers on the edge of the penalty area. And that's what Ched Evans is going to do, get in spaces around the penalty area that you've seldom looked at.
Yeah, I mean, he picks up a brilliant position, I have to say. A really good position, just holds it. Everyone's sort of retreating towards the 6-yard box, and he just holds his position in and around that penalty spot, and they find him. It's a decent contact, but like you said, it's just hit his own player.
Fleetwood now just beginning to get a bit of control of this, as Helm now picks it up, playing some nice one-touch football. And now Helm out on the right. Nice interception. Good work, though, from Cameron Humphreys to get the ball back. Shipley couldn't reach the clearance, and it'll come to Ennis on the left. Now Evans, just outside the penalty area, crosses it towards the edge of the box on the right. Ben Wayne gets there first. Marvin Johnson will come over and tide it up and sweep it down the left touchline for Devante Cole, who's all on his own and manages to turn. But again, he's found 3 red shirts around him, and Fleetwood get possession back with Harrison Neal. Now Malarkey, and goes back in there. Fleetwood, I would say, probably look at a little bit sharper than Vale at times, as Evans tries to get there ahead of Hennigan, who read his run well and allowed Gauchi to come out and gather it. Fleetwood just at times look a little bit sharper.
I think the stoppage in plays has probably hindered Vale more than it did Fleetwood. I think Vale were probably just getting to grips with the game, and then the stoppage came. And Fleetwood, like you said, after that, look a little bit sharper.
Good work, though, from Cole now to release George Hall down the right. Under pressure from 2 Fleetwood players, forced back. And now George Hall just struggling to stay on his feet. And I think that's a combination of it being a slightly wet surface, but also Fleetwood, every time he gets the ball, they just grab hold of him. They get so close to him and try and muscle him off the ball. Here's Cameron Humphreys now on the halfway line to Marvin Johnson, wide on the left, about 6 yards in from the touchline. 44 gone. Oh, and Johnson tried to pick out Cole on the edge of the penalty area. It wasn't the best of balls. Shipley bends one over to the right side to Mitch Clark in loads of space halfway inside the Fleetwood half. Might need a good cross. It'll get a good cross to Stockley. Oh, but the ball just bounced right in front of him. He got a connection on it more with his heel than anything else. Took a lot of the sting out of the shot, and that meant that the goalkeeper could come out and gather quite quickly. Here's Evans on the halfway line as Fleetwood release from the goalkeeper quickly. Evans turns away from Cameron Humphreys, who just flew into him and got rid of the ball off him, and Humphreys has stayed forward and found George Hall. 9 minutes of time to be added on. Stockley edge of the penalty area, plays it across for Byers with the drive across the face of goal, and Wayne can't connect. And John Brady is furious that his team haven't taken the lead there as the ball played out to the right side. George Byers with an inch perfect cross across the edge of the 6-yard box. Wayne slid in but couldn't connect, and the goal went begging again.
Yeah, good play from all round. Actually, I think George Byers does exactly the right thing. He drives it right across the face of goal. Ben Wayne, I have to say, takes up a great position, and rightly so, as playing on the left of a 4-4-2, has to get himself in the box when the ball's on the opposite side. It's just probably, inches away from him just getting contact and Vale going ahead.
Shipley misread the header, but Cameron Humphreys will bail him out. Pinged forward now by Malarkey, looking for the run of Will Davis. Hennigan boots it clear from the edge of the penalty area and out for a throw to Fleetwood about 10 yards inside the Vale half on the right. We are into 9 minutes of added on time at the end of the first half. Port Vale 0, Fleetwood Town 0 in the third round of the FA Cup. Shipley beaten to the ball by Bonds. Bonds now hits across towards the left side looking for Ennis, who thought about trying to reach it, then gave up the ghost, and it'll be a Vale throw deep inside their own half on their right. Fleetwood are threatening, aren't they? They've got some ability, and you can see why Pete Wild's got them going, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he's picked a big side, hasn't he? When you look at the size of the team, it's a big team. They look a threat from set plays. I think they're probably a bit of a hit and miss going forward. They've got a pattern of play, and the way they're trying to play just doesn't seem to.
Good work from Cole from Stockley's flick. Cole is into the penalty area. Right side, plays it across. Shipley, brilliant finish! Great goal from Jordan Shipley from the edge of the penalty area. All done down the right from the flick on by Stockley to play in Devante Cole, who drove in towards goal on the right, pulled it back to the edge of the penalty area, and Shipley fired one in from the edge of the box past Harrington away to his right. John Brady's Port Vale are up and running. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood Town 0.
Yeah, that when we talk around Devante and what his strengths are, that's where it is. It's a good ball in behind, but his pace just gets him away. And like I said before, he's so aware when he's in that final third. He picks Jordan Shipley out. It's a brilliant finish from Jordan Shipley, right on his left foot, gives goalkeeper no chance. Vale, I have to say, probably have edged this in this first half. I think on the balance of play, they've looked a little bit more clinical. There have been times when Fleetwood have threatened, but really Vale have looked a little bit better, and rightly so going in at half time. 1-0. Great finish from Jordan Shipley, brilliant run from Devante Cole, great awareness. 1-0.
It's like we've said though all evening rather, it's about getting the ball out wide and using that pace, and that was a classic example of it.
Well, look, when you look at you've got two wide players and two centre forwards. Other than Jaden Stockley, all the other three have got real pace and they're really direct. And when you put the ball into areas behind and you stretch opposition and they're running back towards their own goal, it's really difficult to defend. And like I said, Devante's got the awareness to just pick Jordan Shipley out, pull that ball back. Jordan Shipley, brilliant finish from him, right on his left foot, gives goalkeeper no chance.
Yeah, difficult one as well to finish from there, because he's got to put it right where the keeper can't get it as well from that kind of range too. So well hit. Jordan Shipley did have a reputation for spectacular goals while at Coventry and at Shrewsbury Town. I don't think that was quite top bins as you'd put it, but it was an impressive enough finish nonetheless, as Vale now have a throw just over the halfway line right side, and John Brady was down on the touchline, really pleased with his team's finish there. I think he was pleased with the build up to that. What you want from Stockley, what you want from Cole, and what you want from one of your midfielders who's on the edge of the box, who's got a chance to finish. Shipley beaten to the ball this time though. Good work from Hennigan though to win it back. Played through though, but now Fleetwood are through on goal. He looks offside here, but Ennis will still run, and Mitch Clark comes back and blocks him off. Jordan Davis is making the run into the middle. Here's Ennis again, sweeps the ball in, awkward for Gauci, headed up in the air by Hennigan, nodded down and cleared by Johnson. And Vale have just had a reminder there that Fleetwood are still dangerous. They still have some teeth and they are willing to bite.
Yeah, a little bit lucky. I think if it's Ennis on the end of that ball that goes in behind, rather than Davies, I think Vale are in trouble.
Well,
but
here's
they
Ennis.
defend well in the end.
Here's Ennis again. Good tackle from Mitch Clark. Whipped back in by Bonds. Up in the air from Hennigan. Gauci's got to catch that and does at his near post, and it's difficult for Vale to deal with. And the boos you can hear for this assistant referee who is running the line in the laundry they have taken an immediate dislike to for what felt like an offside, at least from their perspective, against the Fleetwood Town striker. Knocked down the left touchline now by Johnson as Vale break for Ben Waine. He's going to get there ahead of Malarkey, but he's got no support. Back to Johnson. Thought about a first time ball in, instead clipped it off the feet of Bonds, who was chasing back with him, and it will be a throw to the Vale, level with the edge of the penalty area, left side. But this game has started to heat up. We are, in case you're wondering why we are still playing, well, A, it's not a 7:45 kick-off, it was 7:30, but B, we've got 9 minutes of added on time, of which we are 5 minutes into here on BBC Radio Stoke and on BBC Sounds. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood Town 0. Jordan Shipley with the goal in first half stoppage time is what divides the two sides. And Fleetwood now have the ball out on their left with Ennis, who has been a thorn in Mitch Clark's side all evening, but credit to Mitch Clark, as the game's gone on, he's gradually got to grips with him more and more. Harrington tries to play it to Marvin Johnson, who, well, just completely miscued his clearance there, more or less trod on the ball, and it squirmed out from under him and then went back to a red shirt. Here's Neil inside the centre circle for Fleetwood, finding Bonds, got Helm wide to his right, might look to pick him out and does. Johnson though across very, very well, read the ball, fired it against Helm's shins and out for a throw in. And ironic cheers come from the Lawn Street because the linesman gave that one Vale's way.
We were due one, weren't we?
Yeah, you would hope that the linesman had spotted that was a Vale throw, being as the loud thud that came off Helm's shin pads when Marvin Johnson clattered it into him. And it's now Johnson with this throw. 51 minutes gone. We are not in the second half, but we are into added on time at the end of the first half. We had a lengthy stoppage after an injury to Lewis McCann of Fleetwood Town. Looked like a broken ankle, but Vale lead here by 1-0. Mitch Clark into the centre field, now edge of the centre circle to Devante Cole. Robbed of the ball and then got it back, but the referee said unfairly with a foul on the number 15 there, Jordan Davis. And it will be a free kick to Fleetwood Town just outside the centre circle, inside their own half. And we have just under 4 minutes now, 3 minutes I should say, of added on time left at the end of the first half, and Vale lead by 1-0. And Harrington now to take this kick, pings it up towards that right side, looking for Evans. Mitch Clark beaten to the ball, but George Hall comes away with it, tries to sprint away from Evans, who's got his hands all over him, and the ball somehow made its way through to Devante Cole before Fleetwood cleared. Good work there from Hennigan. Now Clark out wide on the right, curves it forward, looks for Cole, whose first touch tonight has been great, but on that occasion it wasn't, and it's given Fleetwood the ball back. Helm now to Neil, finding Evans, and now out wide to this left side. Chance for Ennis to have a run, and now tries to place one in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It was Mitch Clark tracking Ennis once more, and the ball out for a corner.
Yeah, Mitch has done better there. I think he's got to just get him down the line, and if Ennis does show him a clean pair of heels, at least your goalkeeper and your other defenders know where the ball's coming. When he checks inside, that's where it causes you problems, because he can play those 1-2s, get the crosses in and get his shots off. So Mitch has just got to get him down the line and deal in 1v1.
Fleetwood corner then, taken short to Helm, back to Ennis, curves the ball in towards the far side, half cleared by Vale. Good clearance from Stockley though, gets some distance on it. Devante Cole now trying to close down Bonds, who's been forced wide out to the right. Cole though bypassed, and now Helm back out to Bonds on the right, curves in across, and that's poor from him, and it'll curve out to play. The couple of the Fleetwood players at the back stick who probably weren't quite in line when he crossed it went running in thinking that was going to reach them, and instead it curved away over the crossbar and has got out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean that's not pretty much it, isn't it? Almost 54 minutes now. The 9 minutes has been up. I think Vale first half they've probably edged the game. I think the quality in the two sides and the two divisions yes, Vale are at the bottom end of League One, but you can see they've got a little bit more quality, particularly at the top end of the pitch, a little bit more of a threat. They look a little bit more, a little bit sharper, really. And I think John Brady will be relatively happy with that first half performance.
Gauci with the kick up towards Stockley, holds it up in the air, wins it twice, but cleared away by Hawhey. Powered forward though by Mitch Clark. George Hall just hesitated, and that allowed Fleetwood to take the ball off him. Away down this right side now comes Davis, but well read by Ben Hennigan, who might not be as quick as him, but certainly read the game better than him. Came across and stepped over him and took the ball off him, puts it out for a throw, which Fleetwood will now take halfway inside the Vale half, and the first half comes to an end, and John Brady walks back down the tunnel. His players follow suit, with his team leading by 1-0. It's been a fairly open game. It's been an entertaining game. Vale, you would argue, have probably had the best chances through Devante Cole, who saw his close range effort turned against the bar by the goalkeeper David Harrington. Ben Waine missed a sitter from right in front of goal too, but it was all about that goal in first half stoppage time. Stockley with the flick on down the right to release Cole, who sprinted into the penalty area and pulled it back for Jordan Shipley on the edge of the box to guide the ball with his left foot away from the goalkeeper to his right and into the back of the net. And it means, Lucas, that at half time in John Brady's first game in charge of Port Vale, it's going quite well so far. Half time, Fleetwood Town and Vale now. Vale leading Fleetwood rather by 1-0.
So then, John Brady, obviously the happier of the two managers this evening I should say. Adam Yates watching that one. Fleetwood has given them a good game so far, so John Brady will be really happy to see his side in front at half time, Adam.
Yeah, I think Vale, in all honesty, have looked at a little bit to have a little bit more quality at the top end. I think Devante could have should have actually scored from a cross. I mean, the goalkeeper made a great save, but he'll be disappointed that he didn't break the deadlock. I think Ben Waine almost got the end of one, and then obviously Jordan Shipley gets his goal. So Fleetwood have maybe had one or two opportunities, half chances. They do look like they've got a little bit of quality, but I think Vale have certainly got a little bit more at the top end of the pitch, and rightly so. They lead 1 at half time. I think John will be happy enough with the first half performance. There'll be things that he wants to improve. I think controlling possession is something that he'll want his team to do, particularly at home against lower league opposition. But they find themselves 1-0 up at half time, and his first half in charge of Port Vale is a positive one.
Have you enjoyed it as a whole, as a package?
Yeah, I mean, look, with all respect to Fleetwood, the Vale are going to have a lot tougher games this year, or the second half of the season, against some quality League One opposition with a lot more firepower. So, yes, at the moment, I've been happy enough, and I think he will be. But this is not going to be anywhere near the test that they're going to face in the next 3-4 months. And I think what he'll do is he'll want to instill the methodology, the characteristics, the structure within his team that he expects week in, week out. And like I said, I think the minimum requirement for these players is that they give 110%. Yes, there'll be times where teams are better, and sometimes you hold your hands up and say you can see goals to real quality, but don't concede sloppy goals and be clinical at the other end. And Vale have gone in 1-0 up. They probably could have been 3 up. But they've just got to make sure that they do the right things. They defend properly, they don't concede sloppy goals, and they improve week on week, because ultimately the managers come into the football club to try and save them from relegation.
Would you say as well that this Devante Cole and Jayden Stockley, I don't even say experiment, but idea, is vindication for the Vale fans that have been calling for it for ages?
Look, I think Phil and I are admirers of Jayden Stockley, and I'm disappointed that it's taken so long for him to actually start with him. He's a threat, he's a powerhouse, he's got ability, he's a goal scorer, he thrives on crosses, and he's not played anywhere near enough football. And I think, like I've said in commentary over the last 2 or 3 games, he takes so much pressure off Devante physically because of his presence. And Devante, he's tall and he's lean, and he does punch his weight in terms of physicality, but it allows him to play on the shoulder of defenders and really use that pace and that direct aggressive running that he does. And like we said for the goal, his awareness is outstanding when he gets into the box. I mean, he's away and many centre forwards would shoot from tight angles, but what he actually does is he's very aware of those that are coming in on goal, and that's where the goal came from. A brilliant run from him in behind. He's got pace, he's direct, but he's got that calmness and assurance that when he gets into the final third and he's in around the box, he's looking for runners to come in, and Jordan Shipley was that runner that came in, and it was a great finish from the midfielder.
All right, Adam, for now, thank you. Is Phil sharing his fruit pastels yet?
Well, he hasn't even opened them, to be honest with you. He does this every week. He takes them back.
Yeah, I've seen him do it. The blue ribbon chocolate that he gets given as well.
Yeah.
He's really hard.
He's had them tonight as well. So
Phil, you normally share the sweets and hide the chocolate. That's normally what the rule was. That was the deal.
New year, new me.
Yeah, worse you, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, right. You two go and huddle up for a little bit. We're back with you for second half commentary shortly. Phil Bowers, Adam Yates, your commentary team on 94.6 FM, DAB and Freeview Channel 715. You can also get them on BBC Sounds tonight because it is an FA Cup commentary. The same applies for Stoke City's game against Coventry City tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about that and talk about the other FA Cup results right now. Next.
So, who am I?
Matthew Ellis. You're on your own and you've money to burn.
New series of The Night Manager.
If I get you in, I'm done.
It's just you and me.
Starring Tom Hiddleston.
Deception is in our DNA.
You played me. Get to the airport now.
I have to get to him before he gets to me.
The Night Manager.
Make the call.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, it's back. Right, half-time here on BBC Radio Stoke, and we've got 3 other games that are happening tonight in the FA Cup. Currently, MK Dons in the League 2 are leading 1-0 against Oxford United. You've also got Preston North End 0, Wigan Athletic 0, and Wrexham are beating Nottingham Forest 2-0 at home as well. Of course, the game here on BBC Radio Stoke is the Vale, who are 1-0 up against Fleetwood Town. We've also got FA Cup action tomorrow for Stoke City. Manager Mark Robins says he's looking forward to welcoming his former club, Coventry City, back once again to the Bet365 Stadium.
When this comes around every year, it's generally and genuinely exciting because you've got a different competition. You're playing against teams, same division, different context. You've got, although you still want to beat them, you've got teams from different leagues, higher and lower, and it's always really interesting for the supporters, I think, and for the players and for the staff. It's just different. It feels different, but it's not any less sort of demands on you or desire to win a game. So you want to try and progress, and obviously there are professional and financial rewards, personal rewards, for getting through, and obviously the experiences that you have along the way can help build confidence, stature, mindset, all of those things that can come with a really good cup run and a successful one.
I know you've always said that the group that you're working with are a good group of players and people, and they won't have got too low when they were going through the blip just before Christmas time, but on the back of 2 away wins and 2 clean sheets, that must make everybody's sort of stand up straight and shoulders back, look more confident, feel in a good place right now.
They never lost confidence, though. I mean, I think you saw that through the performances. I think they were very, very disappointed at Sheffield United and the home game against Sheffield United, to be fair. We were a lot closer to a better performance in that game at home, but generally they've performed to a really good level. The league is tough, it's very close in games, and we came out on the wrong end of some really tight games. But what it will do is it proves to them all, doubles down on the fact that we're a really decent team, and we've got some good players who are pushing to try and elevate us into a different part of the league, and where we want to be operating, and that's something that this club's craved since relegation. So, we absolutely aware, that cup competition is important, league position is vital, and the performances on top of that essential for those things to happen and happen successfully.
So build up to that game from 2 o'clock, live from the Bet365 Stadium. Kickoff is, of course, at 3, and you can hear that one on 94.6 FM on DAB and on BBC Sounds. It's also on 5 Live Sport Extra 3. It's on 5 Live Sport Extra 3. I just had to be sure, so I double-checked. We'll stay with football now, and as we enter the third round of the FA Cup, we've also got Crystal Palace, the holders, in action, with boss Oliver Glasner saying he doesn't feel any pressure to retain the FA Cup. Last season's winners travelled to 6th tier Macclesfield Town tomorrow. It's a 12:15 kickoff, and Glasner's been speaking to the BBC's Kelly Summers.
I don't feel any pressure because we are the holders. So, it was the first trophy for Crystal Palace in more than 160 years, and so to replicate it, then I think this would be even I don't have a word for this. If you do something the first time for 160 years and maybe you can do it a second time in the following year, would be an achievement incredible. But we start every competition with the goal to win it, especially a cup competition where you have, I don't know, exactly 5 or 6 games to win, and then you win a trophy, you play European football again, and we are still in 3 competitions. Premier League, of course, Conference League in the knockout stage, and now FA Cup. It's cup competition is always knockout stage. That's what I like it. I say do or die, and of course we will go to win the trophy again, but for me it's not, let's say, to defend the title, because for me defending is always a little bit passive, and I always want to win something, not to defend something. So we don't defend it because we have won it, it's ours. The trophy, the title will always stay in Crystal Palace history books, and now it's winning another, so that's a positive goal, and that's what we want to do.
Meanwhile, in transfer news, Manchester City have confirmed the signing of Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth on a 5.5-year deal until the summer of 2031 for around £65 million. Semenyo already has 10 goals and 3 assists in 20 Premier League games so far this season, making him the 3rd highest scorer in the division. Ghanaian international and teammate Prince Osawu believes that he deserves this move for this money.
He's a great guy. He has a huge talent and is a very, very great player. But I think he had a lot of hard work, and this is what it's paying off right now for him, because you can't achieve those things without working behind the scenes. It's not surprising me what he did right now, or what he achieved right now.
And in cricket, accusations that the England team has a wider and potentially problematic drinking culture continue after their 4-1 series defeat to Australia in the Ashes. Shortly after the defeat, a story emerged that Harry Brook had got into a fight in early November with a nightclub bouncer in Wellington who thought he was too drunk to enter. Brook has since apologised. It followed the ECB announcement just before Christmas that reports of players drinking excessively in Noosa between the 2nd and 3rd tests in Australia would also be investigated. The former England wicketkeeper Matt Pryor has been comparing the culture of this current squad compared to the Ashes tests that he was involved in.
And we had a team charter. And we came up with a list, basically. And that was how we lived. And any young player that came in the group, the first thing they did, they would go with the senior player, have a coffee, and it would be explained to them, this is how we live. I believe it starts at the top. It's been far too loose. I think there have been literally no boundaries.
So you can get all the sports news on bbc.co.uk/sport. Now, in other action tonight, if you're a Stoke City fan who's been listening to the local sport this evening, there's been some uncomfortable scenes in the Cameroon game. You'll, of course, know that Junior Shamadou, Stoke City right back, is away on international duty at the moment. He suffered quite a bad injury in the first half of the game involving Cameroon, his home side, his national team side, and Morocco, the hosts of the African Cup of Nations. And it seems that he's been involved in I wouldn't say a nasty accident, I'd say a nasty collision with the opposing Morocco player. And this player's landed awkwardly on Genius Shamadou's leg, around his knee, and so the concern now is how bad is the injury, because he had to go off, and how long will it be? We can only speculate until then, but hopefully we'll get some news over the evening, and maybe we can bring you that tomorrow on BBC Radio Stoke. Yeah, pretty nasty to see, and seeing him stretch it off like that, not good. Hopefully Junior Shamadou is going to be okay when it comes to recovering for the return to the Championship football for Stoke City in the near future. Right, well, we are approaching now second half here on BBC Radio Stoke, so shall we hand back to our commentary team of Phil Bowers and Adam Yates. Adam, to see off this game, to make sure that it's not extra time or penalties, what does Port Vale need to do, do you think, to ensure that they can get through and get out of this game unscathed?
I think they probably need to continue press high up the pitch, put the ball into wide areas, and just flood the box with crosses. You've got two centre forwards that are hungry for crosses, that feed off crosses. You've got two wingers that have got real pace. You've got to put it into good areas, let them get on the end of it and cross balls early. And I think the more times that the ball is crossed into Fleetwood's box, the more questions we're going to ask them. And I fancy Vale to go and get another couple. If they do that, what they need to really be aware of is the fact that this Fleetwood Town side do have a little bit of quality, and although not quite as much as Vale, they will punish them if Vale start to drop deep and invite pressure and switch off and knock track runners. So, it's set up for a good second half, and again, I still think Vale will pull away, but they've got to go out there and stamp their authority on this second half, the next 15-20 minutes early, because there will be a reaction from Fleetwood at some point, and they will get a couple of chances. So Vale have got to keep a good line, high line, defend properly, and they should see themselves through.
Phil, now that Vale are ahead, are you happy for your prediction to be wrong now?
Yes, be ecstatic, but I've been here a long time, Lucas. I've watched this football club a long time. I'm not counting my chickens yet. There's a lot of football to be played.
New year, new era, John Brady and all that. Well, let's wait and see what happens in the second half then. You can hear it on 94.6 FM, DAB, Freeview Channel 715 and on BBC Sounds. It's Port Vale against Fleetwood Town, with the Vale a goal up at Vale Park. Your commentary team of Phil Bowers and the former Vale defender Adam Yates.
Yes, welcome back to Vale Park. Both teams out on the pitch. We are just waiting the arrival of the referee Benjamin Speedy, who is yet to rejoin us. He's last out now, as he's come out with George Hall. Two of them just having a chat, and now he'll be back out and ready to go for the start of the second half. It'll be Fleetwood to get us underway. Vale leading here by a 1-0, courtesy of Jordan Shipley's goal on 47 minutes in a lot of first half stoppage time. And Vale probably had the best chances of the game, even though Fleetwood had caused them a few problems without ever really getting behind their defence. But they'll probably come out and be a lot more aggressive, you would think, in this second half. Here's Malarkey now on the halfway line, sends it wide out to the right to Helm, the number 10. Comes in field away from Ben Waine. Has to go back now to Hawhey, the number 35, who's playing in the middle of the three centre halves. And now Harrison Neal, who likes to drop in deep and support his defenders. And he goes looking for Bonds out on the right, but well dealt with by Marvin Johnson, who pokes the ball out and gives Fleetwood a throw level with the edge of the penalty area on the right side. Neither side making a change at half time. The only change we've had is Fleetwood waste that throw taken by Malarkey, and it was the number 9 Will Davis rushing towards it too quickly, in fact, and the ball ricocheted off him and went out for a Vale throw now. But neither side making a change at half time. The Vale team, Joe Gauci in goal, Mitch Clark, Ben Hennigan and Cameron Humphreys, then Marvin Johnson the back four, with Hall, Byers, Shipley and Waine across the midfield, and Stockley and Cole up front. As Vale now trying to do some defending, as Fleetwood though pick it up. That's a good ball out to the left to Ennis, who's going to try and torment Mitch Clark again, get to the byline, wants it back on his right foot, plays it back here. Medley's low ball into the blocks, it's blocked by Byers and will go all the way up to the halfway line, but Hawhey is younger and quicker and will get there ahead of Stockley, and Fleetwood come forward again. Malarkey out wide to the right now to Helm, and plays it back to Bonds, And now Neil, who's sitting deep, aims another one out wide to the left to Ethan Ennis, the number 16, who likes to hug that left touchline, and he's shown he's got pace, and he'll try and run at Mitch Clark, and he'll get away from his man, and he's got away from Byers, and then he wasted his chance. He got away from 3 Vale players there, did Ethan Ennis, just by using his skill and his trickery and his pace, and he got past both Clark and Byers, and he also suckered Hennigan in, and then all he did with the goal at his mercy, Adam Yates, was drill it into the side net.
Yeah, I think Mitch and George Hall have just got to do better. They've got to get out there quicker and shut that down. I mean, the ball's travelled a long way to get out to Ennis, and then there has to be more intensity to get out there and shut that space down early. I think we talk about the reaction of Fleetwood and them probably having a bit of control in the game at some point. They've started this half, the second half, very, very well.
Stockley fighting for the ball on the halfway line. Good ball from Byers now, trying to power the ball down the right and release George Hall. Hawhey is on top of it, and George Hall is making a nuisance of himself, and Hawhey has lost the ball to Cole, and he will pick it up on the edge of the box, and he'll play it back in here for Marvin Johnson. Deflection and over the bar. It will be a corner. It was great work from George Hall and Devante Cole to hassle Hawhey, the young centre-back, into making the mistake. Cole then played the ball across the edge of the penalty area. It was just behind Shipley, but Marvin Johnson came flying in and hit it with a thunderous effort that took a deflection off a Fleetwood player and went over the bar.
Yeah, it's persistence, isn't it? I think, like you just said, a young centre-half, he's stuck in two minds and does neither, and then gets caught on it, and I think he's lucky that the ball's fouled to Devante on his left side. If it's on his right, I think he pulls the trigger. He ends up picking out Marvin Johnson. It's a good effort.
Shipley's ball in, fired to the back post, and one of the Fleetwood players just went down quite easily, and the referee had no hesitation to blow up for a free kick. And Jaden Stockley making a nuisance of himself to David Harrington. John Brady tried sitting down in the dugout for about half a second and then got straight back up and went to the edge of the technical area again.
In fairness, he's not left there, has he?
No.
He's out. He's animated. I think he's somebody that the Vale fans have been able to resonate with. I think he's got an idea. He's got a way he wants to play. He's got a mythology around the way his players want. He wants his players to perform. And he's passionate.
See what he's like at post-match interviews as well after this too, won't we? We haven't had that experience yet. We'll see what he's like for that. Harrington now goes long up the centre of the pitch. Humphreys clips it forward. George Hall trying to push it beyond one of the players for Fleetwood, but it gets caught under his feet, and now Fleetwood come on the attack. And Jordan Davis trying to take it away from Mitch Clark, who's done well to win it back, and Shipley tries to curve it out to the left with not enough purchase on the ball to find Ben Wayne, but Shipley was then caught late, I think, by Neil, and Shipley has gone down holding his right ankle, and he was clipped late there by the Fleetwood player, and that's resulted in a free kick. And I didn't quite see it, Adam, I just saw the two of them coming together.
I think Jordan Shipley's just one of those, again, we've seen 2 or 3 in the last couple of games, haven't we, where I think he's played a pass and his follow-through has been caught. Referee rightly so has blown up, but that's taken the sting a little bit out of what Fleetwood have tried to mount. I know it's only been maybe 15 or 20 seconds, but that makes all the difference.
Hennigan hitting it long and high down this right side, looking for Hall. Mitch Clark's done well, won the ball back. Oh, that's a nasty tackle from Neil, who went in and led there and absolutely clattered across Mitch Clark. He clearly went in for the player and not the ball there, did Harrison Neil. Mitch Clark had won it, and Neil went in and just swiped his legs out from under him with a firm challenge. Didn't attempt to win the ball whatsoever. Mitch Clark went down like a ton of bricks, and Harrison Neil goes into the referee's book.
Yeah, it's a late one. It's a swipe as well, isn't it? I mean, there's leaving your foot in and dangling a foot, trying to win the ball, and then the swiping, and Mitch has been really unlucky with his injuries, hasn't he, in the last 2 or 3 years. Lucky that he's not caught with one a little bit more hefty. He stays down but jumps himself straight back up. Judge Byers straight in there, which is good to see that he's trying to protect his teammate, but Mitch really lucky to get away with that one without too serious an injury.
Yeah, I think it looked quite nasty as well, the way that the action of Neil coming in and, like I say, swiping at Clark's shins with his boot. Just looked like there was intent there. But it will be a Vale free kick, about a quarter of the way inside the Vale half on the right, taken by and George Hall's gone down, tries to pull the ball back across goal. He's kept possession here, George Hall, and George Hall went down outside the box, don't think it was a penalty, even though it's kind of half-hearted appeals, but George Hall had clearly got the pace on the Fleetwood player there. But as the ball just curved over the top by Shipley, he went down. What did you make of that?
I think it's a soft one if the referee gives it. I mean, there is some contact there, but certainly not enough for the referee to give it for me.
Harrington's kick is headed away by Humphreys. Byers is beaten to the ball by Davis now. Tries to take it through the legs of George Hall, who slips. Comes out here to Jordan Davis. Oh, his shot is blocked by Hennigan. Comes out to Ennis, who tried to hit it and curl it into the far corner. And it was Hennigan who was in front of Gauci to block it, who I'm not sure got full sight of where Ennis was trying to put that. He looked like with his right foot from an acute angle inside the penalty area on the left, like he was trying to bend it into the top corner. But Gauci, I'm not sure how much he could see of it, because Hennigan just appeared in front of him and headed it over the bar, and as a result of that, it's a Fleetwood corner.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to bend that into the far corner, and you're right, and I'm not sure how much Gauci can see of it, but Ben Hennigan throws himself right in the way of it. Brilliant defensive bit of work from the big centre half.
Fleetwood corner then. Let's see what they can create from this. They've started to send out a few subs to warm up, as of Vale, and let's have a see what they can do with this Fleetwood. And well, the referee is just having a word with Malarkey and Stockley. Fleetwood drive it in, it's high. Oh dear, that one was another one that had curved out of play. Twice in one game we've seen that now, where somebody's taken a corner and it's gone out of play before it's come back in.
Both that left side of yours as well, Phil.
Yeah, it's just we've seen a foul throw and two corners that have gone out of play. It's not exactly been an advert for free-flowing football tonight sometimes. But in fairness, I think Vale have done well tonight, particularly when they've got the ball out wide. They've looked really threatening, haven't they?
Look, it feels like we say it every week that we commentate. Vale are at the most threatening when they get the ball wide and deliver crosses early, and they load the box with crosses, and they play it into good areas and behind the opposition and get the lads with pace to go and chase it. And
Wayne is trying to chase that now from Cameron Humphreys' long clearance after a short goal kick from Gauci. Johnson with Helm, two of them had a coming together. Referee says free kick to Fleetwood on the halfway line on the right. 54 minutes gone here on BBC Radio Stoke and on BBC Sounds. Phil Bowers and Adam Yates, your commentary team. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood 0. Jordan Shipley with the goal in first half stoppage time as Harrington, the Fleetwood keeper, sends it up towards the head of Davis. Looking now for Bonds, but Shipley is caught dwelling on the ball. Vale have got to clear it and don't, and it comes out to Ennis wide on the left. Right-footed low cross into the near post. Hennigan with the clearance once more, but again it's a red shirt who gets there first. Now Medley backheeling it to Bonds, and he takes it wide to the left, looks for Ennis, takes a deflection off Byers. It looks like it might bounce towards the byline. Mitch Clark and Bonds are in a tangle, and the referee says Bonds has got a big hold of Mitch Clark's shirt, and it will be a free kick to the Vale right down by the touchline. Clearly their outlet is Ennis, isn't it? And you can tell that's Fleetwood's game plan now, is try and get it to him and get him to run into the box.
Yeah, what he's doing is he's standing right on the touchline. It's giving Mitch a bit of a problem. I think Mitch has got to be a little bit more selfish in the way that he's defending. You know, Ben Hennigan wants him right alongside him because, rightly so, you know, Ben hasn't got the pace to get into the channels when it gets in there, but Mitch has got to look after himself a little bit as well, because what's happening is Ennis has got 10-15 yards of a run at him, and he has got some pace.
Stockley pinned away from the ball by Hawhey, and Fleetwood clear. Now out to Ennis again on the left. And just a little bit too intricate there as Davis was running past him. Jordan Davis, Will Davis tried to play it to either one of them, and neither Ennis nor Davis's namesake were on the same wavelength, and it just plopped out of play for a throw to the Vale, which Mitch Clark will take halfway inside his own half on the right, in front of the TV cameras that are here tonight, because somebody somewhere decided that Port Vale v Fleetwood was to be televised. I don't know who, and I don't know why. But anyway, Helm has the ball on the halfway line right side. 56 gone here, Vale lead by a goal to nil. Fleetwood, though, have made a good start to the second half. They've probably been the more threatening of the two sides, the more maybe ambitious at this stage. Bonds to Medley, and now out wide to the left to Ennis again, who's going to torment Mitch Clark once more. Mitch Clark sticking to his task. Ennis, though, still gets the cross in, stands it up to the back post. Wayne can't get rid of it with a header. Humphreys can. Up towards Cole, who can't hold it up, and it'll go back into the channel for Helm to pick up by the corner flag on the right to Fleetwood, swept back towards the edge of the penalty area. And there was Jayden Stockley to touch the ball back to a defender who can blast it up to the halfway line and out for a throw. And Fleetwood are going to make a change here. They're going to bring on their number 26, which I think is Sean Rooney. No relation, so I gather, to more illustrious Rooneys. As Ennis touches the ball to the edge of the box to Neal, goes back to Medley inside the Vale half. Vale are pinned in their own half. Fleetwood, it's been all Fleetwood in this second period. There's a low ball, is curved into the box, and it's easy for the goalkeeper. But Vale have just got to get out, haven't they? They haven't done that in this second half.
They've got penned in, and I said that there's going to be a period in the game where Fleetwood are in control and probably do create some chances. Vale have got to ride that out. This seems, or I hope this seems like this is that period, because, like you said, for 12 minutes of this second half, Vale have really been penned in.
Double change coming up for Fleetwood. They were forced into one in the first half, and they lost striker Lewis McCann to what looked like a pretty serious ankle injury. Cole's offside here from Stockley's flick on. That was as clear as day, that was, for Jayden Stockley's flick on there for Devante Cole.
It doesn't have to be, though, Phil. I think he's got so much pace, Devante, that, you know, in a foot race against any of those defenders at Fleetwood, he's getting there, and he has to bank on Jayden Stockley winning his header and you know, gambling on the flick and timing his run. He doesn't need to give himself an extra yard to get off.
So changes of foot for Fleetwood. Toby Malarkey is off. Sean Rooney is coming on. I'm not sure whether that's a like-for-like change, because Rooney is a centre-half, and the other change is Harrison Neal coming off, and number 32 Caden Hughes is coming on, and we will see. I'm not sure that's... Well, Rooney's just gone into the same place Malarkey went into, and Hughes has kind of gone into more or less the same place that... Oh no, he's gone on as a kind of left-sided player, hasn't he? So that's moved Helm in field. So a little bit of a rejig here for Fleetwood. Byers trying to squirm the ball away from Evans, and now to Mitch Clark, wide on the right, tried to hit it forward. It was charged down by Ennis. That went out of play. Medley is furious because he feels he kept that ball in play. The referee says no. I have a tactical question for you here. I hope you can use your expertise to answer.
Go. Try my best.
The way that Vale are playing with the 4-4-2 and the way that Fleetwood are playing with that 5 in the middle, am I right in thinking here that occasionally maybe Fleetwood can press that high because they've got that extra man in midfield?
I mean, I suppose it's more around the wide players. I think the problem that Fleetwood are going to have is if they push any of their wing-backs high and wide onto Vale's full-backs. You've got two wingers that ultimately will go and sit in the spaces behind those wing backs, and that's really where I think Vale can really put some pressure on. I don't think that the wing backs at Fleetwood can go and press the full backs unless Vale's full backs are high up the pitch. I think they've probably got to just sit in, and maybe sometimes it is that third one in midfield that goes out and gets one of the Vale full backs. But I think Vale's shape has caused Fleetwood more problems than Fleetwood has Vale.
Yeah, and as we say that, I think Fleetwood have changed their shape now and gone to 4 at the back as Mitch Clark and Medley get into a wrestling match on the left. Kennigan just whacks it clear. Harrington is a long way out of his goal to meet it and will thump it back up into the Vale half. Hennigan meets it again with a good header. Byers trying to play the ball across, but it's intercepted by Helm, and now out wide to the right to Ennis, who's gone to play on the right to have a go at Marvin Johnson. He'll put in a really good cross, but it's a really good take from Joe Gauci at the near post. It was awkward for the goalkeeper to deal with, and he got 2 good clean hands on it, and then he had a little swipe at the number 15 there, Jordan Davis, as he went to release the ball quickly, and Davis just kind of put his arm across it.
Yeah, he's just got to be careful there, Joe Gauci, because he does swipe at him, you're right, Phil, and if he does catch him, you know, immediately the referee's going to brandish sending off.
Free kick there against George Hall. I think Fleetwood have tinkered with their system a bit. I think they've kind of gone to a 4 at the back now. They've got Hughes on the left, and they've pushed Ennis as a kind of right-sided player all the way up to the opposite side. And there is a change for the Vale. Double change. Off comes Jayden Stockley, and he's being replaced by Ryan Croasdale. And on comes Mo Fall, and he will replace... Have a look. Might be Jordan Shipley if they're going to swap those two roles round. I don't fancy putting Croasdale on up front and Fall in midfield somehow.
No. Yeah, I think George Hall's coming up to the moment. It'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of the shape. He might just switch it a little bit.
It's number 36, Mo Fall.
But I think George Hall's looked a threat. I don't think it's his natural position playing wide of a midfield for George Hall, but he does look a threat every time he plays because of his pace and just how direct he is. And I do think he's got quality. I think the key for me is finding out what his best position is in this Vale side.
Well, let's just have a look how things have gone now. Fall is up front with Cole. That is pretty much clear.
Well, it looks like they've gone to a front three, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to work this out. Still got a back four. Wayne is on the right, and
yeah, so they've got Mo Fall, Devante on the left of a front,
and Wayne on the right,
and then three in midfield of Croasdale, Byers,
and Shipley. Yeah, good spot there. I'm glad you're here. Here's Fall, away down the left, shrugs off the challenge of Haughey and turns away from Rooney. Lovely piece of play from Mo Fall, and then a crossfield pass. Where's this come from? Here's Mitch Clark, wide on the right, lots of space to get forward. Clark to the edge of the penalty area, low ball in, looks for Croasdale, keeps possession but forced wide, then takes a tumble, and Fleetwood clear their lines. Cameron Humphreys, though, wins it back on the halfway line. Hennigan has got to do something with it and go safety first back to Joe Gauci, but Where did that Mo Fall come from?
I mean, he's dancing. He was dancing in the middle of the pitch, Phil.
Yeah. Well, there'll be some dancing in the streets of Burslem if Mo Fall can score tonight, I'll tell you. Here's Bonds, slips, and that ball will go out of play with it. No, the assistant referee says it stayed in play as Bonds went down in a heap on the floor. Hennigan beaten in the air by the leap of Davis, but Byers is in behind him to clear up, and he'll go back to Gauci. And, as I say, Fleetwood kind of changed their system a little bit. It's a little bit awkward to see what they're doing. I think they've kind of gone trying to work it out. I think they've gone back to a back four, but tried to push kind of like a 4-5-1. But Vale now, as Adam points out, more or less a 4-3-3 to try and combat that. Here's Cameron Humphreys. Now George Byers, who's dropped deepest to operate as a kind of pivot there, but that's not a good ball from Byers. Shipley's gone and won it back, though. And I think Byers just dozed off for a second there. That's a good ball played over the top for Fall to run onto. Mo Fall is all on his own on the edge of the penalty area on the left. He looked to pull it back across goal, and he nearly caught the keeper out. And Fall powered past the defender and smashed the shot in towards the near post. And the keeper at the second attempt held it. We could be overly critical and say pull it back to Croasdale, but I think he could sense that the goalkeeper was a little bit out of position there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a snapshot on his weak side, and I think, yes, we'd have liked to see it come across, but he's entitled to pull that trigger, and it is a really direct run from the centre forward. I think he's got something about him. He doesn't seem to be able to do it consistently for me.
Yeah, and I remember that Barnsley game here in the Trophy where he looked $1 million at times. Johnson now looking for Cole. Both he and Fall left it to the other, and neither got it in the end. And now Fleetwood on the left, they were looking to try and release Medley wide on the left via Bonds, but Davis intercepted it to take over for himself, and that's ended up slowing the move down. Fleetwood now passing it back, and Mo Fall, like a dog after a car, is chasing everything and just flying after every red shirt he can find. And what he maybe does offer more than Stockley is a bit more mobility up front, but also the physical presence.
Yeah, look, I don't think one moment there's a fair comparison between Jayden, as a target man, and Mo Fall. I think Jayden is an outstanding target man. Mo Fall's probably got a little bit more pace, like you said, and a little bit more, not desire, but a little bit more sharpness in terms of his pressing. But what Jayden brings you is so much experience and so much understanding how to bring others into the game. And actually, quite often when you can't win the ball as a centre forward, you stop the opposition punching it back over your midfield and defence, and that's what he does ever so well.
Here's Clark now with a throw for Vale, about 3/4 away inside the Fleetwood half, looking for Fall on the edge of the box, headed away but punched forward to Gunsmore. Nice little deft header from Fall to find Wayne, looking for Cole, blasted clear by Fleetwood. Cameron Humphreys with an awkward clearance from the halfway line. Croasdale gets a shove in the back, but the referee says advantage as Mitch Clark wins the ball, sends it wide to the right to Wayne. He's got Byers running infield if he wants to try and get him well held up by Wayne, who's under a load of pressure, and then finds Clark back to Croasdale. Vale playing some triangles here and keeping possession. This is better, really. This is kind of technical football. If we're going to be massively critical, we haven't seen Vale play enough this year.
No, and you know, they retained possession, and yes, they've gone backwards, but they retain possession, don't they, rather than giving it away sloppily.
Here's Marvin Johnson, lovely run forward and out wide to the left to Cole, who'll use his pace to get to the touch line, looks to try and pull it back. It's gone out to corner. Marvin Johnson has gone down in a heap midway inside the Fleetwood half after having his legs taken out from under him by a Fleetwood challenge, but Devante Cole, who's now playing wide left of a front three, absolutely lit up the place then, left like the DeLorean in Back to the Future with the flames coming off the back of his boots. It just left him behind.
He just, I mean, you know, he does well there, but he's not wide of a front three either side for me. He's got to play up the middle of the pitch in a two, Devante, for me. I think that's where you get the best out of him.
John Brady on his haunches on the edge of his technical area. Jordan Shipley by the corner flag, taking this corner for the Vale. 67 gone, they lead 1-0. Shipley's ball in, goes looking for Farl. It's headed down. Croasdale will win it back on the edge of the area on the right. Ennis trying to make a nuisance of himself, but Croasdale, as he often does, wins it back. And now Byers, lovely turn, looks to release Croasdale, but then Byers loses the ball and Davis brings it up towards Evans, and Jordan Shipley took his ankles across the back of him, and that's going to be a yellow card for Jordan Shipley, and he knew what he was doing there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Ched Evans come in and he takes it well. He just reads Jordan's positioning and waits for that one to come in. It's experience from Ched. He knows what he's doing, but yeah, I think you're right. Jordan Shipley is right to just take a little bit of a booking there. I'm not sure. I don't think the referee's given him a yellow card. Not a bad free kick to give away.
Yeah, he did issue him a yellow card for that, Jordan Shipley. Vale have had a lot of yellow cards this year in all competitions, and Shipley the latest to go into the book. Goalkeeper takes the free kick and just short of the halfway line on the left, headed in towards the edge of the penalty area. Gauci coming out quickly, and Hennigan was there to help out, but it was Will Davis, the number 9, who was sprinting into the box to make life difficult. Well read by Gauci. Good work from Clark now to find Croasdale. Croasdale to Fall now, just outside the centre circle on the left. Nice little ball with the outside of his right foot to the left to Marvin Johnson. Fall has continued his run. It's a lovely ball from Johnson, and Mo Fall was just waiting for that to drop to him because he'd gone rampaging through the middle to try and win the ball. And if Johnson finds him, he's clean through. Fleetwood, though, get it back. Now Bonds to Rooney, and now Hawhey out to the left to the other substitute, Hughes. And Ben Wayne, who, as we say, had started on the left and is now on the right, as challenge comes in from Hennigan, who, not for the first time we've said this season, Adam has been such a strong presence at the back, and he's won most of his tackles and won most of his headers.
I think he's always done well when he's played, hasn't he? I think it maybe suits him better in a 4 than it does a 3. I know he's only ever really played centrally in a back 3, but there are times where he's had to find himself out wide defending, and that just doesn't suit Ben Hennigan. He's better in the middle of the pitch, winning his headers and winning his tackles.
70 gone here on BBC Radio Stoke and on BBC Sounds. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood 0. Evans is caught offside here, and Fleetwood are preparing a double change. They are going to bring on Matty Virtue, former Blackpool midfielder. Blackpool to Fleetwood, that's just a short tram ride, isn't it? Not too far for him to go. And they will be bringing on another sub as well. I'll inform you when I can see who that is. I think it's George Morrison. It's Owen Devonport. And Virtue will come on to replace Jordan Davis. One of 6 players who started their defeat at home to Grimsby on New Year's Day. Virtue, as I say, former Blackpool midfielder, he will be coming on now to replace Davis, and there seems to be now some issue with the 4th official because he doesn't know which number's coming off, and it will be Will Davis, so both Davises are off, and Owen Devonport will be coming on to replace him. And so those changes now confirmed by the referee, and again look like for like, Adam. And you know, while it's still 1-0, you can't count Fleetwood out, can you? But since the changes have been made on both sides, Vale have kind of taken more control of the game.
Yeah, I think it's probably lost a bit of bite the game as well, hasn't it? It's lost probably the bit of action and the bit of end-to-end entertainment that we've seen, that's fine from our perspective. We're 1-0 up, but ultimately, when you make a number of changes like that, you're gonna sometimes see that the game sort of falls a bit sour. And Vale have seen it out. They've not probably been as potent as they were first off, but neither have Fleetwood.
Cole now, lovely turn, gets into the box on the left, looks to pull it back, and it just took a ricochet off the heel of Medley as both Ben Waine and Mo Fall were on the edge of the box waiting for that ball from Cole to pull back. But what he's done really well tonight, Devante Cole, is play on the shoulder of the last defender and turn them well. Here's Shipley, lovely ball to Fall playing it through, looking for the run of Marvin Johnson, took a deflection that took it away from him, and now Fleetwood come forward again. Johnson comes back to win it though. Cameron Humphreys, now Croasdale, centre circle, out to the right to Mitch Clark, no one really ahead of him, whips a lovely ball forward for Ben Waine, great ball from Clark, and then Ben Waine is just leaned into by Medley. That's a free kick, and there was absolutely no attempt for Medley to win the ball there. He just leaned onto him and fell over it.
It's such poor defending. I mean, it's pathetic really. I mean, he's literally he's not even
I do love it when you have a go at defenders.
No, but Phil, I mean, he's literally pushed him over in front of the linesman when Ben Waine's going nowhere other than being in the corner, and then he's not even complained that it's the wrong decision. He's just walked away.
As if to say, yes, it was terrible. It's just knowing how you used to defend, like time your tackles really precise. I love it when you have a go and somebody just walks up to someone and pushes them over.
He did. I mean, it is Ben Waine's, in a difficult position. He's got his back to the defender. He's going nowhere, and he's literally just pushed him
over, walked up behind him, pushed him over. Anyway, it's a free kick. Vale are going to make a change. Jaheim Headley is coming on. Marvin Johnson will be coming off. And I think, again, that's a matter of building Marvin Johnson's fitness back up, because you can't deny that his quality is there. His contract, as I understand it, only runs until later this month, so there'll be a decision made on him soon, and he was, of course, brought here by his former boss at Sheffield Wednesday, Darren Moore.
Yeah, there's no doubt for me, though, he's the first choice left back, I have to say. Left wing back. He's been outstanding. His quality's there. He's taken a couple of whacks, hasn't he, tonight, and you're looking at 70 odd minutes in his legs. Manager straight up to him, pat on the back, big hug. Marvin Johnson, for me, like I said, he's the first choice left back or left-sided wing back, because he's just got so much quality.
Free kick then to the Vale, 74 minutes gone. They lead by a goal to nil. It's out wide on the right, about 6 yards in from the right touchline and about 12 yards in from the byline. Jordan Shipley is over it, left-footed. He might fancy this at the near post if he was being cheeky. Let's see if he is. Jordan Shipley drives it in. And it's headed out as it was destined for the far corner by one of the Fleetwood defenders. It'll go out for a corner on the far side. It was a wicked delivery from Shipley, and I think if the keeper, nobody touches that, the keeper can't see it and it goes in.
Yeah, that's exactly the type of ball that needs to be whipped in from that position. It's 6.5 foot high, whipped in with real pace and dip. And it can literally go anywhere. Like you said, if no one touches that, the goalkeeper can't react quick enough, it ends on the back of his net.
So, Vale corner then, as we head towards the last quarter of an hour plus stoppages of this FA Cup tie on BBC Radio Stoke and BBC Sounds. They lead by a goal to nil. Shipley's corner in towards Fall, it's over his head. Come to Croasdale, who hits it low, catches in a forest of red shirts and white shirts, and it's cleared by Fleetwood, but Croasdale will pick it up. And now he will give it to Mitch Clark, will send it back to Gauci, and out wide to the left for a first touch for Jaheim Headley on as a substitute. Plays it forward to Shipley, who's in a bit of space now. Hits one forward for Fall to chase. Rooney is at 6s and 7s, but will get it back to his goalkeeper. Harrington up towards the halfway line. Byers wins the header. Goes looking for Wayne, who's caught out of position. Croasdale can't get there first, and now Medley away down the left, rides the challenge of Byers. Medley still going, pings a ball across the edge of the box. A good ball as well from Medley to find Ennis, who plays it in low towards Virtue, and there was the block coming in from Shipley, who did really well to defend that, because Virtue had got in behind the defence and was looking to pull the ball back across goal had Shipley not intervened.
Yeah, he does really well, Shipley. He tracks Virtue's run, and it is a good run from the Fleetwood midfielder, but brilliant from Jones. Shipley spots that danger, gets himself into position and blocks across.
Vale here with some defending to do. They lead by 1-0. Driven in by Fleetwood towards the near post, headed out, and it'll come here to Medley, who tries to hit one and curl it into the top corner, and that was travelling, and I think it was Cameron Humphreys who got himself in the way and deflected it over the crossbar, and it will be another corner to Fleetwood. It was a difficult one to defend, and the header away at the near post really didn't do Vale any favours, because it played it into a dangerous area for Fleetwood.
Yeah, and I think it's the left back that comes in on his weak side, Medley, and tries to hit that, but well blocked in the end.
Another corner then for Fleetwood. They look to power this one in, right-footed away from goal. This one's got more pace and it's deep, and it's the head of Rooney that meets it above Hennigan, but over the top of the crossbar and out for a goal kick. And that was lucky because Rooney got up above everybody there, and if he directs that one a bit further downwards, that's 1-1.
Well, it's a free header, and that's the most alarming thing, and I'm sure John Brady will be demonstrating to his defenders that you cannot allow free headers 8-10 yards out from corners or set plays. It's a threat, and entering this last 10 minutes of the game, you really got to make sure that you're switched on and see this out now.
Substitution for the Vale, Ben Waine off. That's a big hug and a high five from John Brady. Dejan Brown will replace him. Well, you can't say there isn't enough pace up there at the top end of the pitch now for Vale, because Brown is quick, Cole is quick, even if he's out of position, and Fall is not quick, but I think he's quick of mind, shall we say, as it's cleared away by Fleetwood from the goal kick. Headley under pressure from the number 29 there, Devonport, who's on as a sub, back to Gauchi, clears it up, first touch for Brown, leaves it to Croasdale, barrels through the middle, but Bonds takes it off him. Just more stronger there was Bonds than Croasdale, and now Fleetwood with Ennis out wide on the right, who switched wings and tries to play the ball inside, and Jordan Shipley, who is there to help out Jaheim Headley, read the ball really well and gave it to Devante Cole on the halfway line. Now Mitch Clark hits it long, went looking for the run of Dejan Brown, who just ran off his defender, but the defender stepped up and read the ball well. Bonds pinging it out to the right now for Fleetwood to Ennis. I think we're going to have quite a grandstand finish here, because both sides want more goals. Rooney sprinting onto it, but that's a good tackle from Jaheim Headley to take the ball away from him, and it will be a corner to Fleetwood. And since their changes now, they look like the momentum swung in their way a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like I said, I think the tempo's gone from the game second half with all the subs that have been made, but I think Ennis has been a real threat, I've been impressed with him for Fleetwood tonight. I think he's been really direct, he's got good pace. He caused some problems first half for Mitch, and then obviously switching to the other flank second half. Ball driven into the box, good clean pair of hands from Gauchi. Really took that well, Joe Gauchi, because that cross, I think it was from Ennis, was delivered at real pace as it was curving away from the 6-yard box, and Gauchi came out and grabbed it. There's a Vale player down, just trying to spot who that is. I think it's George Byers, but it looks like he's going to be okay to carry on. 3,366, including 166 Fleetwood fans. So what, just 3,100 Vale fans? 200 Vale fans there?
I have to say the pleasing part of that is the traffic's not going to be too bad.
Well, no, that is a highlight. I'm all for things that make it easier for us to get out of here sometimes, but
especially on a Friday night.
Yeah, on a Friday night, yeah. Do you know what? My days of going out after a Friday night game and living it up on the town are long gone. I shall be back in bed by about, what time's this finish? About 9:30. Me in bed for 10:30, providing the manager's out quick.
Perfect.
Yeah, cup of tea, biscuit.
Not treating yourself to a
land of nod.
What do you usually have when we work?
Well, I have. We can't do advertising and names on the BBC, but I have a ritual of fast food deliveries depending on whether Vale win, lose or draw. And let's just say a certain colonel has been making a lot of money over the last few months, because that's what I have when Vale lose. But thankfully, it looks like I'll be deserting his army this evening if Vale can hang on to this.
And what was is it the Sin pizzeria that's
associated with the game where you win? Sometimes knock if you haven't got a next move. So I'm sure you can work all this out. We're just not allowed to say the brand names. Anyway, Fleetwood have got the ball on the edge of the centre circle. You're not missing much. They're just passing it around. Rooney hits it long down the right, goes looking for the run of Ennis. Jaheim Headley will match him for pace. Ennis trying to take the ball away from him, but well done, Jaheim Headley. And then Jordan Shipley, and they find Devante Cole, who sprinted into the centre circle and is sent to the floor by the retreating Bonds, who did nothing other than put a forearm across the top of his shoulder blades and send him to the floor. And that's known as taking one for the team, because Dejan Brown was away down the right, and if Cole can pick him out, he's in for one, up to 2-0.
Yeah, Gene Medley does really well against Ennis initially, then Devante does brilliantly to get hold of the ball and spin in to a central area, and you can see he's looking for that run of Dejan Brown, and he's actually made a great run, the substitute, to try and get into an area, but referee rightly so has to pull that back for a free kick.
We're into the last 9 minutes of the game here on BBC Radio Stoke. We are on air till 10 o'clock tonight. We will hopefully bring you John Brady before the end of the programme this evening. However, if we don't manage to, then you need to subscribe to our Port Vale page on BBC Sounds. Here's Mo Fall down the left, where you'll be able to find that interview after the game. Just go to BBC Sounds, type in Port Vale, hit subscribe, and then you'll find John Brady's interviews on there. Vale give the ball away. Good work though from Hennigan to win it back. Powered forward now by Rooney. Dejan Brown and Cole still providing difficulty for the Fleetwood defence because their pace is causing a problem. Clark is under pressure from Devonport, so goes back to Gauci. Gets the ball on his right foot. Stands it up looking for Brown, who misread that completely, and Medley just was bigger and stronger and got in front of him. And now Fleetwood just taking a little bit more time over their passing. As the clock ticks down for them here. 83 minutes gone now, and Vale lead by a 1-0. Fall chasing the goalkeeper, who hits it up into the crisp night sky. Mitch Clark and Devonport get tangled up, and Devonport is more aware of it, so plays it out to Medley wide on the left. Croasdale across to meet him, tries to get enough room to put a cross in. He will, but well marked and blocked by Ryan Croasdale at the expense of a corner.
Yeah, really good defending 1v1 from him. I think Medley looks far better going forward than he does defensively, in all fairness, and Ryan Croasdale finds himself isolated 1v1 out wide, just outside the box, but does really well to send the big left back down the line and then obviously block the cross.
So it's Ennis who's had a good game and put lots of crosses into the box, but none of the Fleetwood players have profited from it yet, who will go across to take this corner. Helm is short of him. Ennis decides to power it in. It's really good delivery. It's not cleared by Vale, and it's off the line eventually by Devante Cole. Fleetwood haven't finished yet though. Edge of the box, here's Evans looking to turn, hits one, but hits it well wide of the target with his right foot. Looks disgusted with himself and his effort on goal, to the extent he's just standing on the edge of the penalty area looking like he's clinically depressed with his arms down to his sides.
Completely dumbfounded.
Yeah, it's just like, how have I put in a shot that's that bad? But again, though, in all seriousness, he managed to find that room on the edge of the box to get a shot away. Vale didn't deal with that ball into the box well.
No, they slashed at the initial ball that came in. Referees just give Joe Gauci a yellow card. I mean, I can't understand what more he could have done there. Joe Gauci's gone and tried to fetch the ball. They've thrown it past him.
Yeah.
He's run to pick up. Anyway, yeah, I think the ball comes in and there's a couple of swipes at clearances, and it ends up finding its way to Ched Evans, but like you said, I mean, the shot is away, but it's nowhere near.
Well, Vale have created their own trouble here, because that was a poor kick from Gauci, and then Vale gave the ball away. Croasdale and Bonds are getting into it now, because the two of them didn't back down from one another. Croasdale just kind of pushed him away, and then Bonds responded with a much firmer push at chest height. Neither player going into the book as a result of that, but what it will mean is it's a Fleetwood free kick just over the halfway line to the left of the centre circle. 5 to go plus stoppages here on BBC Radio Stoke. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood 0. Jordan Shipley's goal on 47 minutes dividing the two teams. Harrington sends it out wide to the right to Ennis. Headley is across to close him down. He goes back infield now to Helm. Helm with room to try and play it past Devante Cole, who gets there first, and Cole will stay on his feet, and he'll get the ball, and he'll get it on the left, and there's Mo Fall in the middle if he can find him. Devante Cole heading towards goal, plays it across, looks for Croasdale. Now Dejan Brown looks to put in the shot, takes a deflection, it'll go out for a corner. Cole flew away down the left, but credit to Fleetwood, they got back in numbers to defend. Ball infield, found its way to Croasdale, then Brown, whose shot was blocked.
Yeah, it was a golden opportunity he wanted. I think if Devante probably just gets his head up, he slides Mo Fall in on this far side, or the nearest side to us, but the far side from Devante, and if he gets that ball across to Mo Fall, he has a touch and pulls the trigger. He just can't find that vital pass.
Shipley now with this corner. We are into the last 4 minutes here. Vale, as we say, leading by a 1-0. Shipley himself the goal scorer. has a look up, and there's plenty in the box to aim for. Shipley puts it in, headed out by Evans. Cameron Humphreys gives chase to the halfway line and goes back to Mitch Clark. Virtue is after closing him down, so he will then go back to Joe Gauci. Fleetwood trying to push out and reset. Gauci, though, well, that's a poor ball from the goalkeeper. He hit it left-footed with far too much pace, flew over the top of the heads of the retreating Vale players and straight to his opposite number, David Harrington. Harrington with the kick, which is won in the air by Hennigan. It will find its way into the centre circle to Bonds. And Thal urging the rest of the team to get up with him and support him and press. And Vale with more work to do. Hennigan with this header forward to the right to find Dejan Brown, who just whacks it into space, and there's nobody there. And you can kind of see what they're trying to do, but just a little breakdown in communication here and there.
Listen, Dejan Brown's right to do that. What he doesn't want to do is give the wall away on the halfway line and have Fleetwood attack with a few minutes left.
Oh, that's dangerous. Virtue's got him behind. What a tackle from Jaheim Headley. Cameron Humphreys was stood rooted to the spot there. I think he thought that was going to get picked up by Jordan Shipley in the middle from a quick ball out from the goalkeeper. He stood rooted, the ball bounced in behind. Matty Virtue read it, sprinted onto it to the edge of the penalty area and had the goal at his mercy, but Jaheim Headley was alive to it, slid in and put the ball out for a corner very quickly. Adam, that's a great challenge.
Well, it is, and I think Jaheim Headley's really switched on, and his pace gets him into a position where he can recover.
Ennis with the corner in now towards the near post, headed out by Dejan Brown, but only as far as Helm, who will send it back out to the right side to Ennis again. He'll a chance to put in a cross if he wants to. He'll run at Headley, he'll stick in a cross, Headley will block it, and it's out for another corner.
Yeah, just go back to that challenge, it's a mistake at centre half. I'm not sure whether it's Cameron Humphreys or Ben Hennigan, but it's a mistake from one of the centre halves, and that's the difference. You probably do get punished for that in League One, and those are the margins we talk about. You have to stay switched on at the back end of a game to see it out. And Vale probably just starting to soak up some pressure.
Ennis now with this corner, fired in deeply, headed away by Hennigan off the top of his head and away to the back post. Cole and Bonds fighting for it. Bonds gets the cross back into the box. It's awkward, it's not cleared. Back to Ennis, edge of the penalty area, driven back in. Still not clear. It'll come to Evans just outside the box. Bonds tries to play it to the edge of the box. Fall brings it down and sprints away, all on his own with 3 red shirts around him. But Fall will give chase up to the halfway line, and he's done the right thing there, Mo Fall, and he's won himself. Well, he hasn't won himself a throw. He's actually touched the ball out himself, but Fall was alive enough there to know to just get away from goal.
Yeah, he does really well, doesn't he? I mean, he's running down a blind alley against 3 players, but he does well enough to try and at least get Vale up the pitch.
89 gone. We're into the last 30 seconds of normal time. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood Town 0 here in the third round of the FA Cup. Deep cross from the right. Gauci comes out. Oh, made it look easy. Sure, John Brady had quite liked that type of Australian calm from his fellow countrymen, just coming out, just grabbing a cross like that in the 90th minute. Hits it high and long up towards the right side, looking for Fall. There's a mysterious offside flag up here from the official on the near side. 6 minutes of time to be added on. John Brady has just wagged a finger in the direction of the assistant referee to say it's not an offside. And there is a lot of activity on the Vale. There's a lot of coaches in that Vale dugout, aren't there? There's Simon Ireland, Jamie Smith, Gary Walsh.
Number 2, Mitch Clark.
As Mitch Clark is given player of the match. Gary Mills there, the new assistant manager. John Brady himself. Ball up towards the edge of the box, cleared away by Fall with a header towards the Vale right. Croasdale pursues. Helm takes it off him. Runs back towards goal, out to the left to Medley. Takes it away from Dejan Brown, right-footed ball into the back post. Rooney trying to cushion a header down, and Gauci's got to get there first and does so. Virtue was just waiting for the ball to drop onto his foot to pounce. Ben Hennigan is furious with his rest of his teammates, just saying, why are we letting these balls come so deep into the box?
Well, I think they're dropping deeper and inviting the pressure. I know I've talked about keeping a high line, and that's key, but when you drop deeper, what happens is you invite balls to come into the box, and that's what Vale have started to do. They've looked a little bit tentative as the back end of the game's gone on. Yes, I know they're 1-0 up, and they're probably just trying to see it out, but you can't just drop deep. You've got to be brave enough to keep a high line.
Well, Medley and has gone down. Dejan Brown was trying to help him out. I think he's just got cramp here. That's why he's gone down. Like when you get it in the middle of the night, you have to get out of bed and walk in a funny way till it goes off. And I think that'll be Zach Medley tonight. So he's got up and hobbles away. I think he'll be all right there. Rub the back of your leg a bit, you'll be fine. Mitch Clark with the throw. Medley heads it out. And it'll be another throw for Vale. This time halfway inside the Fleetwood half. 92 gone of the 96 we are due to play. Port Vale 4 minutes away from a place in the 4th round of the FA Cup for the first time since 2014. As Devante Cole to Fall! Oh, dear me. Well, where Mo Fall has been like this all season, I've had no idea. As Cole, with seemingly no danger, managed to just nip in front of the centre half and touch it to Fall on the edge of the box, who hit a rasping volley with his left foot that looked destined for the top corner and then just went wide.
I mean, we're right behind it. He catches it really well, doesn't he? I mean, it's out of nowhere. It's a brilliant hit from him.
Well, Fall again, after Hennigan has won the header, tried to play in Dejan Brown, but his pass out there was blocked. Byers, inadvertently has put it in the direction here of Devonport. Hennigan goes across to close him down. Fleetwood play it back now to Hughes, midway inside the Vale half, left side. Was hoping for someone to run the touchline, but Fall had come back to block him. Medley with an angled ball across to the left side, but well dealt with by Headley. Out to Ennis, out wide on the right, pushes it past Headley, and now Helm back to Rooney, who can't put a cross in. Fleetwood just trying to play the ball into the box, trying to walk it in. Headley comes away with the ball. Ched Evans pushes him over, and that's a free kick to the Vale by their own corner flag on the left, which with just under 3 minutes to go is music to John Brady's ears, you would think.
Yeah, I mean, G. Medley, he's in a position where he's got no real even opportunity to clear the ball, and it's a silly one from Ched Evans. It's an immature free kick to give away. He's way more experienced than to give that away, and like you said, it gives by that little bit of respite. Now Vale last couple of minutes going in to see the game out, and I think all in all it's a result, isn't it? Yeah, it probably is not what we want to see in terms of performance, but it's a result.
Yeah, and I think, as we say, the second half of the season tends to be a results business. Remember the second half of last season when Vale were going for promotion, they didn't always play well at times, but crucially they did win quite a lot of games in the second half of the season, which is what got them promotion. As Harrington now on the edge of his own penalty area sends it high towards the right to Ennis. Headley, I don't think he knew how much time he'd got there, because he'd got a good 10 yards of space around him and instead chose to head it into touch for a Fleetwood throw on the halfway line on the right, as Fleetwood again try and play the ball high. Bonds towards Medley on the left. He'll look to get the better of Clark, who did really well there, Mitch Clark, and he'll wallop it clear. Devante Cole will give chase. Low batteries now for Devante Cole. I think he's run his race tonight, but he's put a lot of work in as the big centre forward, and this is awkward. Here's Ennis, edge of the penalty area, puts in a shot, and it hit. I think it was Evans, no, it was Virtue at the edge of the 6-yard box. Vale again had dropped deep, but had not picked up Ennis on the edge of the box on the right, and he smashed in a shot towards goal, and it hit Virtue and goes behind for a goal kick. And when you looks out, isn't it? Yeah,
I mean, it's a mix-up in communication between Ben Hennigan and Jaheim Headley. Both go for the ball. Neither of them get there, and like you've just said, Ennis is left on his own wide, and like you said, he shoots a cross goal, hits his own man in Virtue, and goes out for a goal kick.
As you say, Vale could be in the hat for the 4th round of the FA Cup for the first time since 2014. Also be the first of Vale's last 4 managers to win their first game in charge, as Clark, Crosby and Moore all didn't win in their first games, as Fall chases back. Here's Virtue on the left, wins a throw actually off Headley. Looked like it was going to be a corner, but Headley just managed to divert it the right side of the flag. 96 have gone Fleetwood on the attack for what might be the final time here. Port Vale have to stay resolute for what might be the final time. Long ball into the box, out by Fall, picked up by Ennis, drilled back in, blocked by Fall. Referee blows up. John Brady starts his Port Vale reign with a win by virtue of Jordan Shipley's 47th minute goal here in the third round of the FA Cup against Fleetwood Town. It wasn't pretty at times, but it did mean